Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Houston.
Houston, Texas. Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's the concluding game of this three-game series. The Astros meeting the Cincinnati Reds. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. The Astros still trying to snap this losing streak. They were oh so close last night, but then the Reds rallied in the ninth to beat them. Now the Reds go for a sweep, JD.
Yeah, boy, the Astros are up against it tonight because the Reds send a red-hot Homer Bailey to the mound. He's won his last four starts, has a 1.76 ERA through that stretch for the year. He's 9-6 with a 3.74. The Astros faced him four times last year, and Bailey won all four of those games. Bud Norris is enduring a six-game losing streak. He hasn't won since May 21st, but he's only pitched here once during that stretch, and he's far better here at Minute Maid than on the road.
So as Norris goes against the Reds and their first-place ball club, some guys with good hitting credentials. We'll see if the Astros can break out the bats against the hot Bailey in just a moment.
Insurance Group. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And buy the all-new summer barbecue menu at Burger King. Let's have a barbecue today, or at least tomorrow. Burger King. Well, we're inside Minute Maid Park. The roof is closed to keep us out of the weather. The Astros have just taken the field for this game with the Cincinnati Reds. Game 2 of the series. The Reds come in first place against the Pittsburgh Pirates will be coming in here in the next series tomorrow. Meanwhile, up in the booth, the old standbys, Bill Brown and Jim DeShays.
Thank you, Greg. And we'll go right to the starting lineup for Dusty Baker's first place Cincinnati Reds. They've won 6 in a row. Brought to you by Hyundai. Zach Cozart is the shortstop. It's Drew Stubbs in center field. Jay Bruce in right. Ryan Ludwig in left. The third baseman is Scott Rowland. Todd Frazier's across the diamond at first. Wilson Valdez gets a start at second for Brandon Phillips. It's Devin Mesoraco, the catcher, and Homer Bailey, the pitcher.
But Norris for the Astros tonight, trying to get things turned around. And boy, if he pitches tonight like he has in his other home games, he's got a real good shot. 3-1, 227 here at Minute Maid Park. The road has not been kind to Bud, but here he has been outstanding. And defensively, the Astros set up this way. It's brought to you by the Home Depot. J.D. Martinez back in there. He's got Maxwell and Bogusevic with him in the outfield. Johnson, Gonzalez, Altuve, Moore, third to first. Carlos Corporan making his fifth start since being recalled from AAA. The Astros looking to pick up a W here on Wednesday. Winning Wednesday, Brownie, that's the theme.
Oh, that's a good theme. They've dropped 8 in a row now. They have not been swept in a home 3-game series this year. They've been swept 6 times, all on the road. Would love to get this one, get something going with the Pittsburgh Pirates coming in next. And it's Bud Norris shooting for win number 6 of the year. He has not beaten the Cincinnati Reds in his career. 0-2 with a 7.23 ERA in 4 starts.
I misspoke in the open. I said he had a 6-game losing streak. It's actually 7. 7 in a row. He has dropped his last win coming here May 21st against the Cubs. But as I mentioned, just about all but one of those starts have been on the road. That is really bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just a little bad luck to have the schedule break down that way.
Yeah, so now as he makes his 18th start of the year, it's Cozart stepping up. Cozart rips the first one foul. There's strike one to a 245 hitter with 10 homers. 20 runs batted in. Cozart leads all National League rookies in hits with 90. And in runs scored with 51. Also in total bases. Chris Johnson's even with a bag at third. Norris delivers a strike. It snowballs 2 strikes on Cozart. Also a good defensive player. He's 27 years old. He is 2 for 11 in this series. That's strike 3. Mike Muchlinski, the home plate umpire, rings it up for Bud Norris.
Bring about Michael's slider on the outside edge. Control's been an issue for Bud in recent starts. 11 walks total in his last 2 starts. And nothing wrong with this one as he carves up Cozart, finishes him off with a good slider. Tickling that outside corner.
Drew Stubbs had the biggest hit last night, a 2-run homer in the 9th inning, his 10th of the year. He's driven in 26 with a 227 average. Stubbs looks at ball 1, and the Reds won it 4-2. Stubbs' 2-run shot gave them a 3-2 lead. He also had 2 singles and a walk in last night's game. That fastball gets a strike for a 1-1 count. Stubbs had 2 hits in the opener of this series, so he's had a nice trip back to Texas with the native of Texarkana. Chris Johnson backs up at third now. 1-1 pitch is hit to shortstop on a bounce. Marwin Gonzalez with the tag by Scott Moore. Accounts for out number 2.
A sharply hit ground ball, but with Stubbs' speed, it kind of changes the rhythm of the play for the shortstop. Gonzalez ends up having to hurry his throw a little bit. The ball got in on him, and then the ball sails, and Moore applying the tag apparently.
Maybe on the left hip area.
Got him on the pocket. Yep.
2 outs now, and it's slugging Jay Bruce coming up. Bruce looks at ball 1, checking in at 244, but with 19 homers, 60 runs batted in. Leads the club in those 2 latter figures. He looks at that for ball 2. Bruce, with 39 walks this season, is a very aggressive hitter. He is 1 for 4 with an RBI in this series, but he did walk 3 times last night. Ludwig is on deck.
I got that stupid Tony Orlando song stuck in my head now.
Knocked 3 times. It's 3 balls and no strikes. What year was that?
Oh, that had to be early 70s, right?
Yeah.
Tony Orlando and Don, knocked 3 times. Good stuff. Twice on the pipes.
Yep. Bruce takes a 4-pitch walk, and he's aboard for Ludwig.
Wow, he's a walking machine here lately.
Going against the numbers. Ludwig with 15 homers, 43 runs batted in, has hit .243.
Well, this lineup should set up well for Bud Norris. Bruce, the only left-handed bat in the lineup, and when he's on his game with that slider, he can really dominate right-handed hitters. Xavier Paul got a start last night. He swings from the left side, but he's the only other left-handed option for Dusty Baker. Joey Votto, of course, still on the DL, one of the best left-handed hitters in baseball. Best hitters, period.
Strike to Ludwig. Ludwig just turned 33. And he's a guy who's looking to be one of those to fill that vacancy left by Votto. Big cut there, 0-2. The Reds have done quite well without Votto. They're 7-2 since Joey went down with knee surgery.
That was a little late getting started, well behind that heater from Norris.
Ludwig had a .201 batting average, but in the last 29 games, he's raised it 42 points. He had 3 hits Monday night and drove in a couple. 2 of the hits were doubles. He's 5 for 15 against Bud. Ground ball wide of third base. Keeps the count at 0-2 with Scott Rowland on deck.
Well, one thing you want to make sure here, if you throw Ludwig a breaking ball, you want to, with no balls, 2 strikes, you want to throw it out of the zone, either down in the dirt or well off the outside edge. He was so tardy on that previous fastball. You may be doing him a favor, speeding up his bat a little bit with the slider. That's not to say you can't throw him the slider, but no balls and 2 strikes. I think it would be a mistake if he left it in the zone.
He did not, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count with Ludwig not offering. Reds are headed for Colorado. They have an off day tomorrow.
Well, similar to the one that he rung Cozart up on, just off that outside edge.
Norris is averaging better than a strikeout per inning this year. Runner going, swing and a miss. To end the first inning with no runs, no hits, and a man stranded. Bud Norris has a 0. Now we'll see if Marwin Gonzalez, the leadoff man, Jose Altuve, and Justin Maxwell can go to work. Not far from his home of LaGrange, Texas, against this Hyundai Astros batting order of Marwin Gonzalez leading off tonight. Jose Altuve at second. Justin Maxwell in center field. Chris Johnson at third base. Scott Moore batting 5th at first. J.D. Martinez returns to the lineup. He's been out with a right shoulder problem. He's in left field with Brian Bogasevic in right field. Carlos Corpora on the catcher, and Bud Norris the pitcher.
Well, Homer Bailey 9-6, and here's how it happened. 1-2 with a 360 in April, and then good record in May. A little bump in the road in June, but lately he has been lights out. 4-0 with a 176 here in the month of July.
He is unbeaten against the Astros in his career, throwing strike one. Marwin Gonzalez, beginning the night at 286, has 1 homer, 5 runs batted in. Marwin has looked good in his return to the lineup with the injury to Jed Lowry at shortstop. And that's a ball outside, giving him a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Marwin 2 for 7 with an RBI in this series after hitting .357 on the 10-game road trip. He's starting for the 10th time in the last 11 games at short now. That's a tough pitch. It's 1-2.
Well, Bailey's got outstanding stuff. Fastball, curveball, slider, split finger pitch. He's a hard thrower. So you don't want to give him that much leeway off the outside corner. That's just not fair.
Boy, that's going to make it tough. Slap to shortstop. Cozart up with it. 1 out for Bailey.
Well, let's take a look at the Reds defensively. An outstanding defensive team. Strong up the middle. Watch out for Bruce. He's got a cannon out there. And right. Wilson Valdez, though, gets a start in place of Brandon Phillips. Cozart, the rookie's been good. Frazier's backed up rolling at third now. Taking over for Joey Votto at first. Mesoraco, the rookie behind the plate, has held his own.
Altuve's the batter. He is 3 for 8 in this series. Jose with a .294 batting average has 5 homers. He's driven in 27 with a .340 on base percentage. Rollins planted in tight at third base. And strike one on the foul ball to Altuve. There's the way the Reds look on the infield. Reds pitching has really been very good. Second best in the National League right now, 3.29. Altuve 7 for his last 15 with 2 doubles. It's 1-1 from Homer Bailey, a first-round pick in the 04 draft, the 7th player drafted from LaGrange High School, where he was 41-4 with a 0.98 ERA. 2 state championship teams. Moves him back, and it's 2-1.
First came to the big leagues in 2007 with the Reds. Reds fans a little frustrated over the last couple of years, expecting Homer Bailey to really take over and be a lead dog in this rotation, but he's still just 26 years of age, and it looks like he's figured it out.
Liner into right field. Altuve reaching with a 1-out single. Yeah, that's what the comments were yesterday about Homer Bailey. That's not a real easy pitch to hit, but Altuve did a nice job of just poking it through the right side. But yeah, the Reds really feel that everything is taking with Homer this year, and he's done those things that he maybe struggled to do in the past.
Well, you know, his numbers were good last year. He was 9-7 in 22 starts last year, and the walk rate was down last year, and he's been able to keep that up this year. I think that's the key. Just a little bit more aggressive.
Altuve's aggressive. He steals the base, and now he rings for third base and makes it easily on a throwing error by Mesoraco. So Altuve gets his 17th. He just took right off on that first pitch to Maxwell, and then continued on the throwing error by Mesoraco.
Well, when you've lost as many as the Astros have here over this last month or so, I think Brad Mills feels like, I'm just going to go for it. Let's run. Let's do whatever we need to do to force the issue, especially against a guy who's been really good on the mound, who has been stingy of late in terms of the number of hits allowed.
Infield moves in. Maxwell looks at that one for ball 2. J-Max is on a 4-game hitting streak. There's the way the Reds deploy the infielders. And Chris Johnson's on deck as Maxwell, who hit his 10th homer last night, drove in 29, tries to give Houston the lead. 3-0.
Jumped on a first pitch breaking ball from Mike Leake last night. Whacked it into the Crawford boxes.
He's third on the club in long balls now.
Well, green light him right here.
Yeah.
Baby.
3 balls and a strike. Bailey on the road is 6-2 with a 2.93 earned run average. Batting average against him in his road starts is only .227. In this ballpark, he's 2-0 with a 0.60 ERA. and it's 3-2.
And as a pitcher, you appreciate this show of confidence that he's getting from Dusty Baker. Baker pulling the infield in here, basically telling Homer Bailey, even if you give up the base hit here, I trust that you're going to be able to control the situation and not give up the big number. So I'm going to take the gamble and pull the infield in. It's somewhat unorthodox to do that this early in the game at this point in the batting order. I think Dusty just trusts Bailey's ability to shut down the middle of the Astros batting order. So he's going to pull the infield in, do everything he can to prevent that run from scoring on Bailey, who's been so good lately.
Yeah, in 3 of his last 4 starts, he's gone 8 innings. And the other one, he went 6 2/3. So he's a guy in a good groove right now for the Reds. And he comes back to get a strikeout after falling behind 3-0. 2 outs.
Well, and that's the other part of the equation, too. I've talked to a number of managers that like to pull their infield in as much as possible because of what it does to the hitter's head, the guy in the box. Sometimes it gets in his head a little bit. Instead of just looking for a ball to hit, he said, well, I got the infield in, and he's got other things clouding his mind a little bit.
Now the infielder's back up for Chris Johnson, who's on a 5-game hitting streak. And strike 1 to CJ. He's 10 for his last 20. 276, 6 homers, 38 runs batted in. He went 2 for 4 last night. He's 6 for 9 in this series. Left leg is wrapped from the knee on down from fouling a ball off that leg. Fouled away. No balls, 2 strikes. The Astros are 2-6 against Cincinnati. The Reds will have one more trip here, and the Astros go to Cincinnati. Both those series will be coming up in September. CJ takes a breaking pitch, and it's 1-2 for Homer Bailey. Last year, he faced the Astros 4 times. He won all 4, and they were all outstanding. Out of play, still 1-2. And the only no decision he's had came in 07 in Cincinnati. He led that game 5-1. He left with a lead of 5-4 then, but a couple of errors and some misplays behind him, and he got a no decision. Scott Moore on deck.
Talking about working the bottom of the strike zone, huh?
Yeah.
A little pushback fastball, and that's the thing. Normally, you talk about the vulnerability of a starting pitcher, especially on the road in the first inning on a mound. He's not often on, but his command has been very good. Even the base hit that Altuve had was a good pitch, a fastball down and away.
That was punched out. Yeah, he's firing that ball. That one was 95 over the outside corner. He's throwing hard, hitting his spots. (2-0) with a 0.60, 1 earned run in 15 innings in this ballpark for Homer Bailey. And he comes back to strike out CJ, and it's no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left, no score after 1.
Join us next for our next Flashback Friday, presented by the Methodist Hospital System, July 27th against the Pirates. The Astros will wear the 1980s shoulder rainbow jerseys on the field, and Mike Scott will toss out the ceremonial first pitch. After the game, all fans can enjoy Friday night fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. Root now and buy tickets at Astros.com. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. Inning number 2 gets underway with Bud Norris facing Scott Rowland. There's strike 1 to Rowland, a .211 hitter with 4 homers. He's driven in 21. Scott is 2 for 8 in this series with an RBI. That's in for a strike, and that makes it 0-2. Rowland's hit .344 since the All-Star break, going 11 for 32. It's 1-2. Corporon set up the target higher that time. And foul back. Pittsburgh won today. Pirates started the day 2.5 behind the Reds. But they beat Chicago 3-2. And they're headed this way. If not here already. 4-game series starts tomorrow night between the Bucks and the Astros. Dallas Keuchel and A.J. Burnett tomorrow night at 7:05. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Were they in Chicago? No, they're in Pittsburgh today.
Yep. There's a look at it. 2 games currently with the Pittsburgh win reflected there. St. Louis is 6 behind. Milwaukee's dropped 13 back.
And Milwaukee lost another heartbreaker today. The Phillies beat him in the bottom of the 10th.
I think all 3 games were by 7 to 6 scores in that series.
Yeah, well, at least a couple walk-off wins for the Phillies.
Yeah. Fly ball, and the left fielder J.D. Martinez moves back to get out number 1. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
A lot happened since last we met. Cole Hamels signing that long-term deal, and Hanley Ramirez being traded to the Dodgers.
How about that? Todd Frazier's the batter. .283 for Frazier. 10 homers, 33 runs batted in. Yeah, that Ramirez trade was quite something. You know, they were talking all winter about it being Hanley's team. Well, they're breaking up Hanley's team, and Hanley's gone from his team.
Well, he hasn't been very good the last couple of years.
No. It was kind of surprising the Dodgers apparently are picking up that paycheck for him for the next couple of years. But according to one story, the Dodgers really didn't have the prospects to satisfy the Marlins, so they picked up his salary. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marlins are swiftly moving. They made the trade with Detroit. They made this deal with the Dodgers.
Anibal Sanchez and Omar Infante go to Detroit. Hanley's gone, and now the focus seems to be on Josh Johnson, whether he'll remain with the Fish or not.
Frazier fouls it. Frazier, another good rookie who leads all National League rookies in slugging percentage and triples. And he has started now in 7 of the 10 games at first base since Joey Votto went on the DL. Had some good plays last night. Nice foul away.
Been a nice piece for them this year. Filling in for Rowland for a good long while, and now taking over for Votto. And not just filling in, but a good productive job too. 10 home runs. And when it comes to batting Cincinnati, they play Frank Sinatra.
Oh,
because he's a Jersey guy.
Tom's River struck him out. That's number 3 for Norris.
Fooled by this breaking ball.
See what else is going on.
What else is going on is right.
A-Rod hit by a pitch, out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken hand. Hamels signed for $144 million for what, 6 years?
Yeah. Plus an option, I believe.
Steven Strasburg dominated the Mets, won his 11th today.
The Phillies now with 3 pitchers making more than $20 million a year.
Well, now let's see. Jose Cruz Jr. tweeted that Hunter Pence will be gone soon from the Phillies. Wilson Valdez taking strike one. 244 his average.
Be a nice pickup for somebody. Tried an extra bat. Chase Headley. There didn't just be rumors around Headley, and maybe the Yankees now with A-Rod going down will make a run at him.
Oh yeah. A liner up the right field line, but foul. Wilson Valdez. Brandon Phillips getting a night off tonight.
He's probably just wearing people out in that Reds dugout. He's got so much energy.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that'll give him 2 days off with the scheduled off day tomorrow in Colorado. Rolled out to shortstop. Marwin Gonzalez with a quick throw to make it a 1-2-3 second for Bud Norris and a scoreless game.
Experience a tune each Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston, or visit hometownkids.tv for more information. Bill Brown.
Patty, is that a brand new show?
It's pretty new, fairly new. I wouldn't say brand new, but new this year, yeah.
Okay. No score, bottom of the second inning. Scott Moore, the batter.
remember when you were a kid and in September the new cartoons would come out? That was a big deal.
Oh, that was huge.
They're here from LaGrange to cheer for Homer Bailey.
They only had to come 100 miles. It's a great deal for them.
Sure.
2 balls, no strikes.
Stop in at Buc-ee's, get some Boston baked beans, a little jerky, cup of Joe.
Absolutely. Fastball inside as Rocco had to lunge for it.
Well, Homer Bailey's actually been tougher on left-handed hitters this year than right. Left-handed hitters hitting just .243 against him with 4 home runs. Righty's .278 with 13 long balls.
The way he commanded the outside corner and right-handed batters in the first inning is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
3-1. Maybe he hasn't been doing that. Moore takes a walk on appeal. That is verified by the third base umpire Gary Cedarstrom. That's the first walk for Bailey. Leadoff walks come back to haunt JD.
37% of the time they score. I don't know if that's any more or less than leadoff singles, but
oh, you're quick.
Leadoff base runners in general, something to try to avoid.
Homer Bailey versus JD Martinez, who's been down for 3 starts with a sore right shoulder. 11 homers, 50 runs batted in at .241 average. He has pinch hit. Ran into a wall in Arizona. of that right shoulder. And there's strike one to J.D.
Literally, not figuratively.
Yeah,
the whole club ran into the wall about 2 months ago. Still trying to climb over it.
It's a good way to put it. Bam!
The wall was somewhere between L.A. and Colorado.
There's a hit into right field. Moore had to wait for it to go in front of him. He will stop at second base on recommendations from Dave Clark. Single for Martinez, and it's first and second, nobody out.
Two things conspiring against going first to third here. One, the fact that he has to stop to let this ball go by and then restart. And even though it was kind of a slowly hit ball, the second thing was Jay Bruce has a cannon out there. So he made the right decision by shutting her down at second base.
Now 2 men on for Brian Bogusevic. Bogusevic, a .218 hitter with 6 homers, has driven in 21 runs. Carlos Corpron on deck. Bogey's 2 for 9 against Reds pitching this year. Takes that one for ball 1.
It's been just a little low.
Must have. It sure caught the plate. Bogusevic is hitting .164 with runners in scoring position. 10 for 61. Little tap to second. And it's a double play. Yep.
Sorry.
J.D. Martinez ran right into that tag by Valdez. Valdez came right in for it. That's a 4-3 double.
J.D.'s had some problems on the base paths this year. Just lack of awareness there of the situation. He's going hard, probably thinking he's going to get a piece of the shortstop to help upset a double play, but you have to know where the ball is, where the fielders are, and what your responsibilities are as a base runner. Priority number one there is do not allow that infielder to tag you. If you can't get by him, slam on the brakes. Try to stay away from him, force them to make a play first back to second, something like that.
Well, as Corporon looks at a curve for ball 1. He's on a 4-game hitting streak, 7 for 18. 357 as an Astro. 1 homer. He's driven in 4. Bud Norris is on deck. That's in the air, and Scott Rowland is backing. The shortstop calling him off. Cozart with the catch. So it could have been a nice inning, but it's no runs a hit, and another runner stranded at third for the second straight. No score.
Center making cancer history. And listen to this one. This is a strange one. On this date, 1990, first baseman Franklin Stubbs tied a major league record by playing the entire game without making a put out. Danny Darwin went the distance in a 5-1 win over the Braves. What can we learn from that? Well, Danny wasn't throwing many sinkers. He was popping them up and striking them out. A first baseman with no put outs. Amazing.
Under death must have a good heater going that night.
That is a pretty remarkable stat. Inside Minute Maid Park, where the Astros are 24-22. It's no score after a couple. The Astros have left runners at third base in each of the first 2 innings, but Bud Norris has had only 1 base runner, a 4-pitch walk to Jay Bruce in the first. Devin Mesoraco is the batter. 216, 5 homers, 14 runs batted in for Mesoraco. He started last night and was 0 for 3.
Something Marlon Brando-esque about Mesoraco. Eyes or something.
Okay. That's ball 1. Devin, a first-round pick in 07. Hit a homer off Norris last season.
Could have been somebody jolly.
That pitch looked close.
Yeah.
And it's 2-0.
Just a little down. But on Fox tracks, a lot of the ones that are called down end up being in the zone. There it is.
Foul back, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike now to Mesoraco. He had a career-high 8-game hitting streak. That was snapped last night. In that Pittsburgh win, 3-2 over the Cubs, Kevin Correa got his 8th win of the year, and he beat Ryan Dempster, who's 5-5. And the trade rumors about Dempster continue today.
Oh, good slider there.
Yeah.
Braves apparently stepping away from that situation.
That's what we're reading. Dempster, according to reports, didn't like the public nature of the trade. And he was taking time to consider options. Fly ball, and in right center field, that will be a hit. A looping single for Mesoraco. Maxwell laid out for it, but Mesoraco's on with the first Reds hit.
Pitch he had no business swinging at. About to hit him in the ribs, and he ends up getting a knock out of it. That was an optimistic dive there.
It really was. Yeah. Homer Bailey's up in a bunting situation. He has 3 sacrifice bunts, 6 hits and 42 at bats. Chris Johnson in tight. Bailey puts it down. Moore with the throw to Altuve. It's a sacrifice, getting Mesoraco to second, 1 out.
Can't do it any better than that. Perfectly placed. Go ahead, bunt that first pitch if it's in there. You see so many times a guy will take that first pitch for whatever reason, get himself in a bit of a bind. But very nice job here by Homer Bailey.
The Reds as a team are hitting .240 with runners in scoring position. Cozart struck out looking to open the game. Reds are 9th in runs scored in the National League. That's strike 1, but the loss of Votto really has not hurt them because they pitched so well.
What are they, like 8-2 in the post Votto era here? They
7-2.
7-2.
Yeah.
Not post Votto, but while he's been out.
Yeah, and he might be back sooner than the 3 weeks. A little broken bat. Diving Moore unable to get there. Gave it a good effort, and Cozart will come back with an 0-2 count and another bat.
Shadubi. You talk about shattering a man's bat. Left him with just splinters. Good effort here by Moore. Just didn't hang up there long enough. Maxwell leaving his feet. Moore leaving his feet. Everybody trying to make plays. That's all you can do.
Yeah,
play
the
hard.
effort's there. Yep. Not biting on the breaking ball. It's 1-2. Dempster today gave up 5 hits and 3 runs in 6 innings. His ERA is 2.25. Apparently the Dodgers now have renewed talks with the Cubs to try to get Dempster. Braves may have gotten tired of waiting. There's a strikeout. Might have been similar to the Dodgers trade for Carlos Lee. If the player wouldn't make up his mind, they thought he wasn't very committed, so they would rather move on. 4th strikeout for Norris.
Braves got a good effort from Tommy Hansen today. They beat the Marlins 7-1. Hansen's now an 11-game winner. But those elite pitchers, that market's starting to dry up now.
True.
Hamill signing. Not sure what's going to happen with Greinke.
He was heavily scouted last night, and he pitched well. Stubbs grounded out earlier. Ball 1 to him. Greinke also hit a homer last night.
What are the Pirates going to do with Wandy? Whose place is he going to take?
They haven't said yet, and he is not listed to pitch here in the 4-game series, oddly enough. They have Burnett, Karstens, Bedard, and McDonald down to pitch, but they could be reconsidering. Who knows? 1 ball, 1 strike.
You think there's a chance they talked to Wandy and he said he'd prefer not to pitch here in his first start with the Pirates?
It's a good point. Hadn't thought about it, but yeah, that's possible. Maybe slot him in after the weekend series. The appeal goes to first base. Check swing call. Stubbs has a 2-1 count. You know, Burnett has been very strong. Karstens, Bedard usually has injury problems, and you know, McDonald kind of doing a little fade right now. Correa hasn't had a 200-inning season, I don't think. So I think the Pirates addressed a concern by getting Wandy. Where they're going to slot him is anybody's guess right now. Strike. 2-2, and he should do well for the Pirates.
Chinsky has shown an indication to give a little wiggle room off that outside corner to the pitchers. Been a little bit inconsistent with his zone. Some of those fastballs that are on the plate but borderline down, he's called ball. It's a tough job. You see, there you go. That pitch probably a little bit better than the previous one.
Yeah. 3-2 now. 47 pitches for Norris. 31 have been strikes.
It's almost like a parent, you know, when you give a kid a little money and they come back for more. No, stop. So they gave him that one fastball out there and they came back and said, stop asking for that. I gave it to you last time.
Broken bat. Looper over first base. This is going to dunk into right for an RBI hit. Here's Stubbs going to second. Bogusevic's throw not in time. 1-0 Reds. And Stubbs hit it off the end of the bat for an RBI double. That's his 11th double and his 27th run batted in.
Really, Reds? Really? This run, Mesoraco off his fist flare. This one off the last quarter inch of the bat. Looper to right. That's maddening.
And usually when teams are going well, those things are happening. Now Jay Bruce, he drew a 4-pitch walk in the first inning. Bruce takes ball 1. Now the Pirates are probably still trying to get a bat. Their left fielder Alex Presley is only hitting .231.
Tabata still in the minor leagues, or is he back?
I believe he's still down there, JD.
Yeah, he's been a big disappointment.
Yes. Wouldn't be surprising to see them get an outfielder, although Upton might not be available for Arizona anymore. 1-1. The latest articles indicated the owner, Ken Kendrick, who's been pretty outspoken in addressing some player issues on his club, said that he was not anxious to see Upton leave, and Upton probably would not be gone by the trade deadline.
Yeah, I saw somebody over there said there was a 100% chance he wouldn't be gone.
Ooh, that's pretty definitive.
Yeah.
Jay Bruce, just 25 years old. And he's already hit 119 home runs in his career.
Well, that's the thing about this Reds club. They're built to last, aren't they? And they've got a lot of young players that still have a number of good years ahead of them, as long as they can afford them. Aren't they locked up Votto for the next half a century or so?
Yeah. They haven't locked up that man, though. Dusty Baker in the final year of his contract. Interesting. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
What about Bruce? What's his contract status? Didn't they sign him to a 3-year deal or something?
Not sure, JD.
Phillips, they gave him a long-term deal.
Yes. Pretty well secured a lot of the key players. This fly ball goes out to left center field. JD Martinez waiting for it and handling it. And in the 3rd inning, it's 1 run, 2 hits, and a man stranded. 1-0 Reds. Of the 3rd inning, but first of all, we have a little trivia for you, brought to you by AT&T. Who are the only 2 active batters who have struck out 2,000 or more times?
A-Rod.
Okay. How about Jim Thome?
I like it.
All right, we'll go with that duo right there.
It's Cougar night here tonight at the ballpark.
What do we find with the Cougars?
Well, there's any number of ways to answer that question.
All right.
Now we're just going to go with Cougars.
There's some Cougars. Jay Bruce has agreed to a 6-year contract.
Yeah, I was just looking at
$51 million on Jay's deal.
Through 2016 plus an option for 2017, a club option. There's a former Cougar, Chris Snyder.
Yeah.
Set all kinds of records while he was there.
Bud Norris just took ball 1. He takes a strike. It's 1-1. Bud has 5 hits and 29 at bats, a 172 average, 3 runs batted in for Bud. Let's see. Bruce's deal is similar to the Justin Upton contract. 1-2. Well, the Reds are getting a whole lot more bang for their buck than the Diamondbacks with Bruce compared to Upton this year. Reds certainly in go for it mode, and with this division only 2 games currently separating the Reds from the Pirates, that's up for grabs. So the loser, if it's those 2, and it could be the Cardinals, they're only 6 games out. Going into the wild card, if that's the way it works out, boy, that's dicey. You're going to a 1-game playoff with the other wild card team, and the division winner stands in much better stead at that point. In the air, and the center fielder Stubbs is waiting for it.
Yeah, there have been years in the past where you looked at the potential matchups and you thought, well, you might be better off being the wild card team than the division winner. But that's not the case now. It's just that 1-game play-in essentially between the 2 wild card clubs.
Who has struck out 2,000 or more times? There are 2 active players. Jim Thome, 25-30. A-Rod, 2,000. Tough to see A-Rod go down now. Now, I wonder if maybe the Yankees will address that by trading for a 3rd baseman.
So the Headley rumors are out there, but I don't know if there's actually been any contact between those clubs or if it's just people jumping to the conclusion that the Yankees would have interest in Headley. And certainly the Padres look like they're willing to move Headley.
I can just see it right now. Bud Black Calling the third baseman into his office. Headley. Two balls, no strikes for Homer Bailey. Gonzalez grounded out in the first inning. It's 3-0. Now that wasn't. I didn't have the inflection quite right, JD.
No.
Do that for me.
I can't now.
Oh, okay.
Got me locked up.
More like Headley. Something like that.
Not Heady. Headley.
Yeah, that's better. That's a 4-pitch walk to Marwin Gonzalez. That's the second walk for Bailey. And Marwin getting that leadoff shot today, and now he's aboard for Altuve, who's single to right. Altuve's been leading off most of the time in recent games. Altuve just went with a pitch and lined it between first and second. And so did J.D. Martinez against the hard-throwing Bailey. Scott Rowlands even with the bag at third.
Homer had only walked 30 men coming into this game tonight. Talk about his improved walk ratio the last couple of seasons. And so, you know, when you see that, it's not just keeping the walks down, but the better command, fewer mistakes in the strike zone.
The Reds have used only 5 different starting pitchers all year. This is game number 98 for them. Grounder up the middle, and it hits the second base bag on through into center field. Marwin Gonzalez was thrown out at third last night. He's not going to let that happen again. First and second, one out for Justin Maxwell. 35th multi-hit game already for Altuve. 2 for 2 tonight.
Really so. Fastball in the zone against Altuve. You're asking for trouble. Right through the wickets. Sharp ground ball base hit for Altuve. Kicked off the bag, but really didn't alter its course much.
5-game hitting streak for Altuve, including this one, and he has multi-hit games in 4 of the last 5. Bailey tying his shoe before facing Maxwell. J-Max had a 3-0 count on him and a runner at third and 1 out with the infield end in the first inning, and then Bailey came back to strike him out. He gets another shot.
Speaking of Jim Thome, you've got a little bit of the Jim Thome bat point thing going on.
Yeah. J-Max is hitting .368 with runners in scoring position coming into this game. There's the point.
On guard.
Yep. Oh, that pitch sat right there where he could do some damage, and he fouled it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He missed the spot with Altuve. Got away with one there to Maxwell.
Chris Johnson on deck as the Astros try to get in front. They trail 1-0 last night. They got a 2-run homer from Maxwell in the 4th to take a 2-0 lead. 1-2.
Boy, I like that slider of his. Short, sharp, late movement.
Well disguised, isn't it?
Yeah.
Homer Bailey listed at 6'4". He's just 26 years old. Pick off at second. He almost picked off Valdez, who wasn't quite there, and he had to lunge and stab that thing before it wound up in Drew Stubbs' midsection. A blown play like that can really wreck an inning for a pitcher. There's one. Valdez with a strong arm makes it a double play, and it's no runs a hit. 1 man left after 3. 1-0 Reds.
6th through the 29th here at Minute Maid. This Saturday, the 28th, before the 6:05 game, 10,000 fans will receive a Chris Burke Greatest Moments bobblehead courtesy of Day Hill. The bobblehead commemorates Burke's 2005 18th inning walk-off home run that sent the Astros to the NLCS for the second year in a row. Root now and buy tickets at Astros.com. And as we've been mentioning all night long, it is the University of Houston Cougar Night here at the ballpark. I am looking for a fan of the game. It must be a Cougar, a U of H Cougar. So if you've got someone out here, send me a tweet at Patty Smith FSH. Let me know, and maybe they will be the fan of the game, guys.
Sounds good, Patty. It's 1-0 Reds. Ryan Ludwig leads it off in the 4th inning. He struck out in the 1st.
Speaking of Houston Cougars, Michael Bourne hit his 8th home run today for Atlanta.
That's a career high for him.
That's what we need to do. We need to put together a list of former Cougars who've played for the Astros.
Okay. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Foods is on it.
It's a broken bat looper and another hit falling in. And here's Ludwig screeching to a halt.
Oh, yeah.
Throw behind him, not in time, but good play by Marwin Gonzalez. He almost got him going back in.
Real good play by Gonzalez. I'm not sure if he peeked over his shoulder or if just good communication from Altuve to let him know that they might have had a shot. And another flare base hit for the Reds. That keeps breaking their bats, and they keep finding safe havens out there in the outfield. Love the aggressive play by Marwin Gonzalez, taking a shot at Ludwig after the big turn.
Where are we, a Mamas and Papas concert?
Oh, what's going on here, Brownie?
Hit number 3 for the Reds. It's Scott Rowland. Rowland hit the fly ball to left earlier. That one to right field. Bogusevic is waiting. Guarantee it's not sweet music to Bud Norris the way these hits are falling in. That's out number 1.
No, and that's the thing you have to guard against when you're going through a rough patch like Bud. We haven't won in a long time, and now these blue hits fall in. There's a tendency to get kind of that Eeyore, just a cloud hanging over my head mentality. You can't afford to think that way.
Eeyore, that's a good one.
Yeah, you know, Eeyore. Yeah. Despondent donkey. You read that to the grandkids?
Sure.
Winnie the Pooh?
Absolutely. That's a staple. Frazier struck out earlier. You're a very sympathetic character for striking.
I can relate to that guy.
Yeah.
Broke another bat. Came up another hit.
Max shading a couple steps toward left center. And it's a 1 ball 1 strike count to Frazier.
But the broken bats, the weak contact, speak to the stuff that Bud has here tonight. Good crisp slider. Fastball has good life. Keeping it off the barrel. Keep doing that. Good things are going to happen for you.
He's not started here since June 6th. Bouncer into left field. Frazier found a hole. And it's 1st and 2nd, 1 out for Valdez.
First real hit they've had.
Yeah. And that one could have been a double play ball. So Bud Norris processes that, talks with Corporon, and faces Valdez, who grounded out. Now, last start for Bud was here against the Cardinals, June 6th. He has lost 7 consecutive starts. In 2 of those he's had quality work, though. But the walks have torpedoed him lately. Last time out he walked 5 and 4 1/3. And the start before that he walked 6 and 6 innings, although he only allowed 3 runs in those 6. He has walked 1 tonight, and it's Valdez batting.
And a real good start on the road trip in Pittsburgh. He went 7 innings, allowed just 2 runs, but got beat 2-0 by Karstens.
Well, he was shut out in back-to-back games at Chicago and Pittsburgh. One ball, no strikes with Mesoraco on deck. K-Rod was the loser again for Milwaukee in that 7-6 Phillies win in the 10th. Line, and there's a catch, and there's a try for a double play, but not quite. Frazier scrambled back ahead of Scott Moore. Could have been the final 2 outs of the inning.
Good secondary lead by Frazier. He breaks with the line drive and able to slam on the brakes and scamper back before Moore could track him down.
Mesoraco comes up. We have Michael Bourne, Doug Drabeck, Bill Henry, Chris Trimmy, Chris Snyder, and Woody Williams so far.
Okay. I believe it's Doug Drabeck's 50th birthday today, as a matter of fact.
Happy birthday, Doug.
The old silver-haired fossil.
Yeah. 25 Cougs have reached the big leagues. There's strike one. Doug is still a pitching coach in the minors, isn't he?
With the Diamondbacks.
Okay. Billy Wagner,
Wags.
Berry, Walter Payton, Peggy Fleming.
Wagner, nobody's going to accuse him of leaving the game too late.
Oh no,
man, he was dynamite last year. I was looking at his numbers earlier today.
Yeah,
like 69 innings, 104 punch outs, something like that.
Why were you doing that?
ERA in the ones, because I'm a diligent researcher.
Wow.
And I was looking at the baseball almanac, and I saw the birthday list, and I saw Wags. So I said, he pitched good last year. Let me check out his numbers. And I said, man, he did pitch really well. And I kind of half expected earlier this year that he might get the itch and come back and jump into somebody's bullpen for the second half. But apparently he's really enjoying retirement. Because I got to believe that phone is, at least at his agent's office, has rung a few times.
Dean Stringfellow, his agent.
Call Bean and say, hey, Wags want to make a quick $10 million?
1-2. Do you suppose his clients, when they're looking for another deal, say they've got a Bean up? What's Wags raising? Llamas or what is he? Alpacas? What is he raising on his ranch?
I think so. Who knows?
A gentleman farmer in Virginia now.
Neil Holfeld used to refer to him as that little redneck.
Fly ball foul. Bogusevic coming over across the line, sliding, and woo. We've seen guys hurt doing that. He did it well.
Alan Craig last year, wasn't it? The ball like that when he hurt his knee.
Sure
out
was.
for a good while.
Yep.
This is a great effort. Perfectly timed. The fan reaching over, making a play. No interference ruled there, although you could have, but it'd be hard to make the case that he was in position to make a play on that ball.
Yeah. Yeah, but if Brian were under that ball ready to catch it and the fan had reached over onto the field of play and interfered, then it could have been fan interference. But these Reds are just flirting with outs, and they're not. So there's another one. Mesoraco hitting one just out of play, and he stays alive with a 1-2 count. And it's tap foul. And that's, it can be so difficult in this game when a team is going along as the Astros are right now. Sometimes to finish off an inning like this one, the Reds just they're dinking some balls in. They're hanging in there. There was a near double play at first, but Frazier was able to get back ahead of Moore's tag. So Norris could be in the dugout, but he has to work harder, and he's thrown 68 pitches.
Yeah, and that's just the nature of a team that's struggling in all facets of the game. The margin for error is so small. I think it probably happens to a lot of clubs, but when you're losing all the time, it becomes that much more noticeable. You don't overcome the mistakes or the bad breaks.
Exactly. And he does strike out Mesoraco to end that fourth inning. Strikeout number 5. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. 1-0 Cincinnati.
All-American Jack Combo for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. Buy the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And by Mattress Firm. Save money, sleep happy. Hey, do you have your copy of Bill Brown's book yet, My Baseball Journey? All you got to do is go to mybaseballjourney.com. They're selling fast, but that's okay. They can print more. And don't forget, all the proceeds from the sale of the book will benefit the National Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasias, which provides support and assistance for individuals suffering from a debilitating disorder with no known cure. You'll also get to learn a little bit more about that ailment in the book as well. All encompassing. Brownie, back to you.
Thanks, Greg. There is first pitch to Chris Johnson. It's strike one, home fourth inning, 1-0 Reds. CJ struck out in the first inning. Homer Bailey's allowed 3 singles. That's that slider you talked about.
Just changes lanes. Just think you're on it, and then that late darting action.
Just like a late night Houston driver changing lanes.
Yeah. You're driving home after a 3-hour and 56-minute game and you're half asleep. It gets your attention.
It certainly does. Usually in a construction zone when that happens. 1 ball, 2 strikes. With Moore and Martinez to follow. Ryan McTaggart writing at MLB.com. The Astros are poised for more roster moves in near future. Slider ball 2, but talking mostly I think about minor league roster moves. Today the Astros promoted pitchers Jose Cisnero, Jared Cosart, and Jake Buchanan from AA Corpus Christi to AAA Oklahoma City. And they sent Paul Clemens back to Corpus Christi. Liner caught for the out by Cosart. Well, the Astros are having the reverse of what's happening to the Reds. They're hitting balls hard at people, while the Reds are hitting balls softly into holes.
Sinking line drive there, and Cosart able to make the play before it hits the dirt. Yeah, Paul Clemens sent down. That's disappointing. He was so good in spring training. I thought he may have been the first guy we saw up from AAA when a need for a pitcher came along, but it's been a rough go for him. Although the kid just recently acquired, Wojciechowski, was dynamite in his Astros debut last night at Corpus. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run.
Yes. Asher got the win. Off-speed pitch, and Bailey hasn't thrown too many of those. There's the win at San Antonio for Asher. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. Struck out 6, walked 3.
Wojciechowski?
I believe it's Wojciechowski. Yes. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Who was the guy in Barney Miller?
I'm not sure.
Wojo Howitz? Something like that?
Could have been.
Wojo. From now on, this guy's going to be Wojo.
There's another guy to watch on that Corpus Christi pitching staff. Lefty reliever Kevin Chapman. He threw a hitless inning last night.
He's over in the Quintero deal.
Yes. Moore strikes out on a good heater.
Homer Bailey wearing number 34, reminiscent of Nolan Ryan, and that's a Nolan Ryan type pitch right there. Just here you go, fella. Take your best whack at it.
Now 2 outs, and it's J.D. Martinez. He punched a single to right. Slider hit in the air, and the right fielder Jay Bruce slopes in for it. For a quick 4th inning, and after 4, it's 1-0 Reds.
does What Do You Drive? Cincinnati Reds leave town tonight. Pittsburgh Pirates come in tomorrow for a 4-game series. And in the series opener, Dallas Keuchel goes back to the hill, trying to rebound from his worst outing of the season, in which he allowed 7 runs on 7 hits in 3 1/3 innings in a loss to Arizona last week. And he draws a tough assignment in that opener, taking on A.J. Burnett, having a very good year for Pittsburgh, 11-3 with a 3.59 ERA. That's your pitching matchup in the Pittsburgh series opener coming up tomorrow. That's your Mazda game break. Let's go back to Brownie and JD.
Thank you, Bart. It's 1-0 Reds. We go to the 5th inning, and Homer Bailey, who has never hit a homer in the big leagues, leads it off. Put down a sac bunt his first time up. There is strike 1.
Named after his grandfather, nicknamed after his grandfather, Homer.
His given name is David Bailey. Bud threw that one at 85. No balls, 2 strikes. Get a good spot with it. The Astros have called up left-handed reliever Xavier Cedeno today from Oklahoma City to replace Monty Rodriguez on the roster. Check swing call there makes it 1-2. So he gives them 3 southpaws in the bullpen. And they will announce the Saturday starter probably by Friday, they're saying. Strike 3 call. It's 6 strikeouts for Bud Norris. Cozart comes up next. He has struck out both times. Armando Galarraga started last night for Oklahoma City, and he was taken out of the game after 3 innings. So he is a prime candidate to be that starter for Saturday night. Fly ball right field. Bogusevic moving over. 2 down. It'll be interesting to see how that lefty, though, Rudy Owens, obtained in the deal with the Pirates, does at Oklahoma City, and probably there's every chance we'll see him here before the end of the year. He's had a good season at AAA for Pittsburgh, for the Indianapolis club. Drew Stubbs with the RBI double to right in the 3rd is 1 for 2. Well, it's been quite a month of July with 4 major trades. Jeff Luhnow is not pursuing deals, but he'll listen to talk, he's saying.
Yeah, well, there's no more big contracts to unload, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't entertain a deal if the right one came along.
And he's talked about early August being a checkpoint for the Astros as far as prospects development, moving players up in the minors. 1-1. Brett Wallace played shortstop again last night for Oklahoma City. They're at DEFCON 6 there with injuries on the infield, so he's played a number of games at shortstop. 2 balls and a strike, and there's every possibility he will join the Astros in early August. That is pure speculation at this point. Another possibility to join the Astros would be Jimmy Paredes.
I don't know that it's so much speculation, though. It's not, I mean, Jeff sounds like he's fairly committed to that.
Well, he's talked about it. 2-2. He's going to have to move people out of here in order to do that, obviously. We'll wait and see what develops. There are some players who are out of options. That's a strikeout looking. Stubbs is caught. Strikeout number 7 for Norris. He mows down the Reds in the top of the 5th. It's 1-0 Cincinnati.
excited to welcome contemporary Christian recording artist Mercy Me for the second Faith and Family Night of the season this Saturday, July 28th. The concert will take place following the 6:05 game against the Pirates and is included with your game ticket. Tickets for Faith and Family Night featuring Mercy Me are available at astros.com/mercy. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. Looking forward to that. It's 1-0 here, and there's a change-up for Homer Bailey to Brian Bogusevic as the home fifth gets underway.
Homer Bailey this year has thrown strike one 67% of the time. That's a fair bit better than league average. He's fallen behind a few Astro hitters tonight. It hasn't hurt him.
A ground ball to second. That's out number one.
What was that? And the old Andy Van Slyke line comes to mind. The summer of 4-3. Not the summer of 42, but the summer of 4-3. And he was playing for the Pirates and was rolling over on a lot of balls to second base.
You bet. Carlos Corporon popped the short earlier. But Norris on deck.
Bogusevic very similar in stature to Andy Van Slyke.
Ball one to Corp. Bailey has thrown ball one to 8 of 17 batters. It's 2-0. But then again, if you follow ball one with strike one, it's not that bad a deal.
Yeah, it's a lot of in the minor leagues. A lot of organizations will teach their pitchers, hey, just make sure you throw 2 strikes among the first 3 pitches.
Okay.
It's kind of a goal they set for the minor league pitchers.
3-0.
So if you're down there and you go 2-0, then your responsibility is just fire one right down the middle and live with the consequences.
Ouch. That's a 4-pitch walk.
But sometimes that's a really good teaching tool. If you're backing up third base after that 2-0 ball ends up in the right center alley. Might not have happened had I thrown strike one here.
Now Norris looks at Dave Clark as he comes up toward the batter's box. He hit a fly ball to center in the 3rd inning, but has 4 sacrifice bunts.
Well, it's the situation that came up in the game last night. You got a pitcher in the batter's box that handles the bat pretty well. You already have 1 out in the inning. Not a guaranteed bunting situation.
Bud swings with the runner going, hits a fly ball near the right field line. Bruce over, and it's out of play.
I like it.
Yep.
Especially, if the opposition is thinking bunt, you're likely to get a pitch in the strike zone there to take a whack at. Corp is not a speedy guy, so he's a tough guy to bunt along anyway. If you don't get a good bunt down, you risk having him thrown out at second.
Nine of 18 first pitch strikes. It's 1-1. One of the advanced scouts was really gushing over the work of Lucas Harrell last night. He said, I have him down as a number 2 starter now, and he said he's so much improved over when I saw him earlier this year.
Yeah, he's been good about 70% of the time. He had a couple starts to get away from him, and usually it's just 1 bad inning. He's been really, really good.
His ERA is 4.07 now. Roland coming in. And Bud swings and misses. Foul tip. 1-2.
Lucas came into that start last night with an ERA of 1.99 here at home, and had to have gone down a little bit.
Gave up 1 run in 7 innings.
189.
Oh, he had a good changeup, and he was talking after the game about his cutter. His cutter, he said, has really helped him against left-handed batters to keep them off the sinker.
Yeah, he does. He commands both sides of the plate really well.
There's a roller by the mound. And there's 1 out. Valdez with a flip, but Bud beats it. Slow developing play. And Bud beat that relay to first on out number 2. Corporon.
Corporon able to slow down, and avoid the tag for a while, and that was the difference between that play and the one where J.D. was running. Instead of running directly into the out, he was able to slam on the brakes and backpedal a little bit and buy just enough time for Norris to beat it.
Yep, you can see it. It caused Valdez to take 3 steps and that allowed Bud to beat the throw. Now Marwin Gonzalez is 0 for 1 with a walk. Rolen is moving in at third base.
If Valdez had to do it all over again, he probably would have flipped that ball to first base, and then they would have had Corcoran hung up in a rundown.
Very good point. That's the thing that that strikes us, you know, as we watch these games. We think about what could have happened afterwards.
Yeah, and you see the best, you know, the most instinctual players are able to pull it off in real time out there in the field.
Yeah, they really are. 1-1. Homer Bailey was limited to 132 innings last year. He had shoulder impingement and a sprain. His top major league season for innings pitched was 132 last year. He's at 125 right now. He's a little roller. Wonder if they'll shut him down in September.
I don't think so. I think it's a green light for Homer.
Okay. I was just kidding, really, because of the Strasburg thing. But I heard one report today that now they're going to relax the innings number on Strasburg. Never saw anything more on it. So it's interesting to see how they handle that.
Well, you know, and you wonder, you know, it's been a story for quite a while now, and Mike Rizzo, the general manager in Washington, has said, no, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. We're shutting him down at whatever, 160 innings, whatever the number is. I think it's 160. That's what they did with Jordan Zimmerman when he was coming back from surgery, and it worked, and we'll talk about it later.
Okay, let's do that. After 5, it's 1-0 Reds.
Of the game, as promised, it's going to be a Cougar tonight because it is U of H night, and I found this guy right here, Matt Bodiford. His Twitter handle is Mr. UH Cougar. You are truly a Cougar fan. Tell me why.
Well, you know, I grew up loving U of H ever since I was a little kid. Everybody else is kind of on the UT bandwagon. I love U of H. I went to Robertson ever since I was a little kid, and you know, I've just been blessed. I go to school there now. I work with the athletic department pretty closely with Todd Whitting, our baseball coach. We've made some pretty good hires the last couple of weeks, and you know, we're really excited. It's a great time for U of H.
And I know you're also a huge Astro fan as well. It can't really get much better for you than this, combining Cougars and Astros together.
I'll tell you what, when they said it was a U of H night, I was the first one on board with it. You know, Astros and Cougars is 2 favorite things in the world, honestly, and I'll tell you what, it couldn't be a better night, and I appreciate you having me on.
Well, you are our progressive fan of the game, and for that, I'm going to give you this. Enjoy the rest of your night. And I've got to call out 2 of our favorite and our fellow Cougars, Bill Worrell and Kevin Eschenfelder. My favorite Cougars, but they're not here tonight. So these guys are falling short. I'm calling them out, Bill.
All right. They deserve to be called out.
Come on,
Betty.
boys. Put the colors on and get out here.
Yeah, come on, fellas. Kevin doesn't need a night off. Jay Bruce is 0 for 1 with a walk. He lines this one to right field. Bogusevic coming in. He's very deep. There's strike one. Actually, Kevin does need a night off. He had that long road trip. And then Bart was down Monday night, so Kevin graciously agreed to work that game after getting in at 3 in the morning. Ludwig is 1 for 2. Don Mattingly has inserted Hanley Ramirez in the lineup at St. Louis, batting 5th and starting at third base for the Dodgers tonight. And he asked Hanley which position he preferred, shortstop or third, and Hanley said he didn't care, whatever was best for the team. Just wants to win. No balls and a strike to Ludwig, who singled in the 4th inning. Bud Norris throwing the ball well tonight. Line to third.
Yeah. With some solid contact.
CJ made that tremendous catch last night.
Ludwig used the barrel and he paid the price.
That was the night before. It was Monday night. CJ made that catch of that line drive hit by Heisey.
Well, if Hanley gets going, Hanley kept Ethier, that'd be pretty darn good.
Oh, it would.
That's still a pretty big if.
Well, D. Gordon's down at short, so they could play him at short as well as third.
I suspect that's what they'll do, play him at short until Gordon comes back.
Mm-hmm. There's ball 1 to Roland. And Bud drops that one in for a strike, making it 1-1. That could really catapult that Dodger team. And Sandoval got hurt last night for the Giants. He was playing first and he did the splits trying to catch a throw and he got hurt.
A little hammy strain.
Mm-hmm. So that could swing the deal a little bit in that NL West race, and the Dodgers quite willing to take on all that extra payroll with the new ownership group. They're really going for it. Now they might be adding a pitcher. Fly ball to right, chasing Bogusevic back. He is all the way back and right there in front of the wall. For out number 3. In the middle of the 6th inning, it's a tight one here at Minute Maid. It is 1-0 Reds. The game comes from the right fielder, Brian Bogusevic. He's a rangy one. Scott Rowland chases him back to the wall, and he gets up and snags it. And Bud Norris got out number 3 in the top of the 6th inning. Oh, yeah, just enough room.
But fairly routine off the bat initially, but Nolan, a big, strong guy, and the ball carried quite well.
Now the Astros trying to get on the scoreboard against Homer Bailey. Have Jose Altuve leading it off. He is 2 for 2. 2 of the 3 Houston hits have come from Altuve. Taking strike 1 at 87. Bailey's walked 3. He's fanned 4. He's now thrown 74 pitches. He's had 2 double play balls. Rollins in tied at third.
Back-to-back breaking balls here. First time up, Altuve hit a fastball off the outside edge to right field. And last time they were trying to get in on him with a fastball. Bailey left it over the middle a little bit. He hit that sharply to center field. Now a couple of breaking balls, 3 in a row now. They're trying to limit the amount of fastballs they throw in the strike zone to Altuve, because he doesn't miss many of those.
2 balls and a strike to Jose. It's 3-1.
Well, Bailey looks a little bit like the actor Christian Bale, the guy that's playing Batman.
Yeah.
Altuve's got him talking to himself. You know, you have a good night as a hitter when you induce self-talk for the pitcher.
3-2. Tigers lead the Indians 5-2 after 8. That's ball 4.
Good AB there, boy.
Sure
Good looking pitch. Tough to take that one. According to Fox Tracks, it was on the plate. Schwinski, the home plate umpire, kind of hit or miss out there tonight. Just bending over, having a chat with Mesoraco, who's obviously voicing his opinion on that call.
Which was in a pretty good spot.
Well, the theory on taking that pitch, I mean, and a lot of times it's just hitters just react, and they have their own sense of the strike zone. But those borderline down and away pitches like that, a lot of guys can't do much with them anyway. So you take them and hope you get the call. A little bit different with a guy like Altuve has such good bat control. It's very similar to the pitch he lined for a single his first time up.
J-Max struck out with Altuve at third for out number 2, and then he bounced into a double play. So he's had 2 rough at bats in this one so far.
Altuve, when he was on in the first, immediately broke and stole second base. That was with 1 out. There's nobody out here.
It's 1-1. Mesoraco's thrown out 23% this year.
8 steals, 3 caught with Bailey on the mound.
Reds are really a good defensive team. They make other teams earn their bases.
Situation here where obviously they are keenly aware of Altuve's inclination to run, so he could take advantage of that. Just 2 or 3 hard steps off the base, bluff that he's going, maybe create a little movement by an infielder to go cover a bag and open up a hole for Maxwell. Stuff becomes more important in a 1-run game as you head towards the later innings. Looks like we're going to throw over or pitch out or do something. We got something going on there. You talk about playing the whole game. How about Mesoraco signaling for the throw over, and the way he was setting up his target, man. He was selling it big time.
He was. And the Reds were here in early June. The Reds won the first 2 games, and the Astros took game 3 of that series.
Doing it again. Bailey's he just wants to pitch.
Max Scherzer had a good one tonight for Detroit. 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. And he left with the lead. It's 5-2 Detroit. Cleveland batting in the home 8th inning. Casey Kochman hit his 10th home run for the Tribe. Altuve drawing a lot of attention.
And these throwovers are being called by the bench. Dusty Baker nursing this 1-run lead, and it's understandable, but there's risk involved too. You got a pitcher who's really on top of his game, and might be throwing him out of his rhythm a little bit. That's the trade-off.
Little tap to third. Rolen charging. Rolen with the delayed throw. He couldn't get it out of his glove, and Maxwell safe. Rolen had a problem with a transfer, and it's first and second, nobody out.
Not an easy play, but certainly a play you expect Scott Rolen to make. He just couldn't get the handle, took an extra step and a half, and that was the difference. Astros catch a break.
Little juggle there. It's an error on Rolen, his 7th of the year. And now Chris Johnson, he struck out and he lined to short. Astros get that opportunity from the Reds, with Reds a solid team in the field. Missing the bunt try. Strike 1 to CJ. He does not have a sacrifice bunt this season.
I think that was on his own. He was thinking about bunting for a base hit.
He is 0 for 8 lifetime against Paley.
Getting outside of his game a little bit there. Tough right-hander though, but he's been good against righties. CJ hitting .291 against right-handed pitching this year, and he's been on a nice roll. Hit safely in his last 5.
No sacks in his entire career, but you can see why he would be thinking about that here. Trailing 1-0 in the 6th. The way Bailey's pitching, showing bunt again.
Yeah, I thought maybe he was on his own up there trying to bunt, but clearly that's not the case.
Well, there are 2 schools of thought. The other one being, hey, he's your cleanup hitter. Let him swing the bat and hit the ball maybe for extra bases. But it's a 1-0 game. 1-2. So if he gets the sack down, it's more coming up with runners at second and third and 1 out.
And it just goes back to, what's the likelihood that he's going to get the sack down? That's the question I'm sure Brad Mills pondered over there. He's obviously too thinking about a ground ball double play cleaning up this inning for the Reds.
CJ's a .323 career hitter against Cincinnati with 4 homers, 12 runs batted in. Dodgers and Cardinals have played 5. It's 2-1 St. Louis behind Kyle Loesch. Dodgers are currently 2.5 behind the Giants. Aaron Harang pitching for LA. 2-2. And Ramirez already has his first hit as a Dodger. Their lineup has Kemp, Ethier, Ramirez, then Loney tonight in the 3, 4, 5, 6 spots.
An opportunity to gain a game on the Giants, who got beat 6-3 by the Padres today. Whoop, there's a break.
Yeah, the runners move up. Mesoraco throwing to second in the dirt and out on Maxwell. What a play there by Valdez. On Mesoraco's throw in the dirt, Valdez able to pick it out of the dirt and make the tag on the sliding Maxwell.
Wow, this is a great play all the way around. Mesoraco quickly, man, how quick is he from behind the plate? I mean, the attempt to block the ball was pretty ugly, but everything after that was outstanding by Mesoraco. The quick feet, the strong throw, and then the pick and tag by Valdez. Yeah, it's just a heck of a play by the Reds. In the meantime, Altuve able to scamper over to third base where he stands now with just one out, and the Reds will pull their infield in again.
Counts 3-2 on CJ. Awfully big pitch coming in this one now. And that strikes
An impressive pitch by Bailey. CJ was barking at him, it looks like. But CJ, about 90% of his at-bats this year in this situation would see a slider, would see a breaking ball. And I'm sure that's what he was thinking. And Bailey crossed him up, threw him a heater right over the heart of the plate. I'm not sure what CJ's talking to Bailey about it. I didn't see Bailey do anything.
That's Scott Moore.
Maybe CJ was yelling at him, read the scouting report. You're supposed to throw me a slider there.
Moore has walked and struck out. He takes strike one. The Astros had a runner at third and one out in the first inning. They had first and second, nobody out in the second. First and second, one out in the third. Strike there, and it's 0-2 after they get Altuve to third base with one out here in the sixth.
Bailey, the prototypical power pitcher's body, broad-shouldered kid, tall, really long extension out in front with his release point. There's good life on that fastball. Really finishes.
Pitches up and a check swing call there. 1-2. And Bailey gets out of another trouble spot. Strikeout number 6, leading 1-0 after 6.
Efficiency Drive sales event by AT&T, Rethink Possible, and by the movie Total Recall in theaters August 3rd. Well, nothing's changed on the scoreboard. Reds still lead it by 1. The action moves to the 7th. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies are still upstairs. Let's go back upstairs and see what exciting ending we will have tonight.
Thanks, Craig. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. It's Frazier, Valdez, and Mesoraco in the 7th inning for the Reds. They got their run in the 3rd on a double by Stubbs. Frazier singled in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. Bud Norris has thrown 87 pitches, 59 for strikes. He delivers ball 1.
Win or lose, a nice bounce back effort by Norris here tonight.
It's 1-1. Yeah, he's really thrown strikes at a higher proportion than he had been.
Frazier missed that ball by 2 feet.
Bud had walked 14 in his last 3 starts combined. 17 in the 3rd innings. In the air, and that's way up there for J-Max. Round number 1. Now it's Valdez. Valdez is 0 for 2. And he's a good defensive player, but the Reds certainly don't have the offense if Brandon Phillips were playing. So, you know, players like Phillips have to rest every now and then, but it's a kind of a double whammy when he's not in the lineup, and Votto's not playing either. Strike 1.
Dusty Baker wanted to take advantage of the fact that the Reds are off tomorrow, so Phillips, you know, and you really want to be careful with your veteran guys, especially guys that play those very demanding middle infield positions, or catcher, center fielder. You know, guys are doing a lot of running, steal bases, things like that. You got to make sure you keep them fresh, because if they're in this tight race in September, there will be no days off for the likes of Brandon Phillips.
Good point. 0-2 to Valdez, formerly with the Phillies. Taps that one back to Norris. 2 outs. That's 10 straight retired by Bud. And Mesoraco comes up. He has scored the only run of this game after a single to right center in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. The Oklahoma City Redhawks won 15-9 last night against Iowa. They've scored 87 runs in their last 10 games, while hitting .355 as a club. Jimmy Paredes has a 10-game hitting streak. Matt Dominguez has lit it up since he got there. He had a homer and 6 runs batted in last night. He's hitting .333 in his 11 games with the Red Hawks, 14 for 42.
His first home run with Oklahoma City. That ball's hit well.
Off the wall, and it kicks back toward 3rd base at an angle that allows Mesoraco to get into 2nd. A different kind of a carom than we often see. It came off at an angle, and Mesoraco got his 7th double.
They put a charge on this one, leaned out and got that slider, and banged it off the scoreboard. Not enough time for JD to get back there and make a play on it. And then the carom, we're kind of at the mercy of the rebound off the scoreboard there. Some of those panels, the way the edging of it juts out a little bit. Kick that ball in a funny direction on you.
Yeah. Now the pitcher spot is due up. Around there you see some different angles where those surfaces are not flush with each other. Homer Bailey comes up. He put down a sac bunt in the 3rd, which led to their run, and he struck out looking in the 5th. 95 pitches for Norris. David Price dialed up a big one tonight for Tampa Bay. 7 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, no walks, 10 strikeouts. 10-1 Tampa Bay at Baltimore after 8.
You know, he might be that guy. Always good conversation piece around Major League Baseball. If you had one game to win, who would you give the ball to?
Interesting.
David Price, boy, he's awfully tough.
Yeah. At an early age, he was good. He pitched here in the College Classic.
Vanderbilt. Right?
Yeah. And that was fun to watch him as a collegian and watch him develop. 2 balls, no strikes.
Tampa Bay got a home run from just acquired Ryan Roberts. Picked him up from the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Tatman.
Tatman comes through for Joe Madden's gang. Seems to happen a lot, right? Guy just joins the club and boom.
Now back. Well, Arizona's cleared out some 3rd basemen. They released Jeff Blum. They also got rid of Tatman. There's David Price with 13 wins, leading the AL. Matt Harrison and Jared Weaver have 12.
Yeah, I guess if I was really pushed, I'd have to go with Verlander for that 1 start. But again, David Price. I guess if you're playing a team with a lot of left-handed batters, you go with David Price.
Okay. That's a looping liner. Altuve back to retire Bailey, and it's no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Fine game for Bud Norris, but it's 1-0 Reds at 7th inning stretch time. Pirates coming in, and it'll be Dallas Keuchel and A.J. Burnett. Burnett, an 11-game winner with a 3.59 ERA. Keuchel is 1-2, 4.03 earned run average. That's the matchup tomorrow night, 6:30 for Astros Live on FS Houston. That's a 4-game series. Game 1 tomorrow night. The Astros are up against the top 2 teams in the NLC on Cougar night tonight.
All Cougars on hand.
Maybe a big late fourth quarter comeback for these Cougar fans, so to speak, for the Astros. They come up here in the 7th inning. The Reds have a dynamic bullpen. When they have the lead after 7 innings, their record is 43-4. We saw Aroldis Chapman last night, and he got save number 18. He gave up an infield hit and then struck out 3 to end it. Homer Bailey in 6 innings has allowed 3 hits, no runs. He's walked 4 and fanned 6.
Came into this start with a 4-0 record against the Astros and a 1.29 ERA. All 4 of those games coming last year.
J.D. Martinez leading off. He has a single to right and a fly ball to right. That is strike 1. The Reds lead the majors with 7 complete games, or at least lead the National League with 7 complete games. Swing and a miss there, makes it 0-2. .96 pitches for Homer Bailey. That's in there for strike 3. That's a 7th strikeout.
Well, a lot of baseball to be played between now and the postseason, but if the Reds are in there, their starting pitching stacks up pretty darn well. Cueto leading the way, and then the way Homer Bailey's throwing the ball right now, I'd be tempted to make him the second man out of the chute if I were Dusty Baker. They also have Matt Latos.
Bogusevic is 0 for 2. Strike 1 to him.
Mike Leake has been solid. Bronson Arroyo, solid veteran. One of those 2 guys might ultimately be pushed to the bullpen in a postseason series.
1-1. If they should be the wild card team, they might need that depth in their rotation. Xavier Cedeno and Anario Del Rosario warming up for the Astros. Pitcher spot could come up if the Astros get a man on here. That's into center field. After grounding out twice to second, Bogusevic hits it to the right of the second sacker Valdez. He's 1 for 3.
And he is a threat to steal a base as Homer Bailey has reached 100 pitches. Good crisp single there off the bat of Bogusevic.
Bogey is 10 for 13 in stolen bases. Corcoran has popped a second and walked on 4 pitches. Ben Francisco comes out to the on-deck circle with Bud Norris due up next. Cozart and Valdez move into double play depth with 1 out. And Bogusevic draws a throw. It's Oakland 14, Toronto nothing. They've played 8.
About those Oakland A's.
They are ripping through the month of July. The best record in the majors. Coco Crisp has gone deep twice tonight to give him 5. Chris Carter hit number 6.
It's kind of beat down the Jays that put on a lot of clubs this year.
That's for
Oakland's
sure.
bats have really been something.
The win tonight moves them 9 games over 500, and there you have the AL West with Oakland only a half game behind the Angels. 5 behind Texas. Oakland with a .542 winning percentage, and that is good for a wild card spot as of right now. 16,077 the attendance tonight.
Angels beat up on the Royals today 11-6. A lot of day baseball on the schedule today. I guess we have to start paying more attention to the American League West.
You bet we do, pal.
That was my knee-jerk reaction when we traded Wandy to the Pirates. Ooh, that dangerous trade within the division. Wait a minute, I'm not going to be in that division anymore.
Yeah, I think Jed Lowry. I think there was a question after the game for Jeff Luhnow about that. What about trading within the division? He said, well, you know, be in the division for a couple more months. They're not too worried about it. Logan Andrusek warming up for the Reds. So no, that's probably not going to come back to bite you a whole lot. Runner going, swinging a foul ball, and he goes down. Corcoran hit that one off his leg, and he's going to stay down for a little while.
Good heater off the plate inside. Corcoran can't get the head out and pays the price. On a couple of fronts. He's down in the count. He's got a pretty good knot on his leg.
Ricky Romero gave up 8 earned runs in 1 1/3 tonight for Toronto.
Toronto came into play tonight, tied for last place with the Red Sox in the American League East.
Bogey goes. Just swinging a bouncer foul. Did David Carpenter get called up by the Blue Jays? There's a Carpenter who pitched 4 innings in relief. Gave up 3 earned runs.
I'm going to go with yes.
Didn't realize that they had called him up after the trade. But we'll check it out. As we see Logan Andrusek.
Nope, that's Drew Carpenter.
Oh, okay.
How many Carpenters do they need?
Not sure.
Apparently one more because they get beat by 2 touchdowns. Well, it's 15-0 now for the A's. Continue to pound Corp inside.
Bogey will steal it. On ball 2, he got over for steal number 11 of the year.
Yeah, picked a slow breaking ball. Good pitch to run on. Takes a peek back in, sees no contact.
Now he's in scoring position with 1 out and a 2-2 count. In tight ball 3. Corcoran could really change this ball game by coming through here. Bogey able to score on just about any type of a single other than an infield hit from second base. Francisco on deck.
After making all those pitches in, they tried to go up and away with a fastball to try to get him to chase, and Bailey, I think, had a hard time making the adjustment, threw it back in off the plate.
You might have noticed on that graphic the Astros are 3 for 23 with runners in scoring position in this series. 0 for 7 tonight. Bud Norris has pitched well despite the fact that his club has not scored yet.
Corcoran putting up a pretty good fight here.
The dirt, ball 4. He takes his second walk, and it's been Francisco pinch hitting. That's the 5th walk for Bailey.
I talked earlier about Bailey's delivery and how he gets really good extension out in front with his release. He really cut that one off. Almost like he was trying to guide it into the strike zone. Earlier he's just kind of letting it go. So I don't know if that's a sign of fatigue or the fact that it's a 1-run game in the 7th inning with a man in scoring position.
Francisco has started 3 of the last 4 games. He comes up here as a pinch hitter as the pinch runner goes in at first base for Corcoran. And that's Jordan Schaefer representing the potential go-ahead run in this game. Francisco has runners at first and second and 1 out. Pinch hitting here for Norris. As an Astro is 4 for 14, 286, looking for his first RBI in a Houston uniform. To center fielder Drew Stubbs. 2 down. Norris with 7 excellent innings tonight, allowed 5 hits, 1 run. He walked only 1. He struck out 7.
Yeah, really nice job by Bud. 3 of those 5 hits were just little soft, broken bat jobs.
Marwin Gonzalez will try to at least get 1 run home. Get Bud off the hook. Trying to snap his 7-game losing streak. Excellent numbers. Well, the Astros would love to do what the Reds did for Mike Leake last night. Leake was trailing 2-1. Left for a pinch hitter. And the Reds didn't do anything at that point, but then they did score and took the lead in the 9th inning. There's strike 1. And the key to that is staying in the game, and Leake did that for 8 innings last night. Marwin Gonzalez, as a switch hitter, much better from this left-handed side this season. When the game started, he was a .316 hitter from this side of the plate.
The Astros have only scored 5 runs so far in this 3-game series, and they didn't even have to deal with Johnny Cueto. So, coming back from the desert in Arizona, where they swung the bats pretty well, but they couldn't stop the Diamondbacks. They come home now and they've pitched well, but having a hard time scoring runs against this very talented Reds pitching staff. Just the starters, but a dominant bullpen too for Cincinnati.
They have another talented staff to face coming up next in Pittsburgh. Pirates are 5th in the league in ERA currently. Up for ball 1 to Marwin Gonzalez.
And what this Reds group is doing is really impressive, considering they play their home games at the Great American Launching Pad in Cincinnati.
Well, it has been that way for Homer Bailey, and you probably would expect it to be that way for most pitchers. On the road, he has a 2.93 ERA in 9 starts. And almost all of the home runs he's allowed, 13 of the 17, have been at Great American Ballpark this year. That's line and trapped, and Valdez gets it over to Frazier. That ends the 7th inning. No runs a hit, 2 men stranded. After 7, 1-0 Reds.
To follow the Astros with the MLB.com @BAT12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Astros.com for details. Bill, looks like we've got a new battery out there.
We sure do. Let's change the battery. And it's Chris Snyder. Of course, he's got to play on Cougar night. He caught the first pitch.
Ooh, I see a developing theme.
Yes.
A game-winning Chris Snyder home run on Cougar night.
Nice.
It's got to be, doesn't it?
Yeah. And Mario Del Rosario, the former Red, comes in to pitch.
Beggins not asking for too much, is it?
No.
In a year like this, that's something magical like that.
Yep.
Have a little faith. There's magic in the night. Yet to come. 1-0 in the 8th. Bullpen has not been very good lately. Needs to be good here.
Cozart is 0 for 3. CJ in tied at third. And there's ball 1. Del Rosario pitching in the Monday night game here. Gave up 3 hits and 3 runs in 1 inning. He's trying to deliver that pitch from a little bit lower arm angle. It's 2-0. When you're trying to make a change like that, though, during this season, boy, that can be very difficult sometimes.
Yeah, you know, you get only so many opportunities to work on it in the bullpen when you're called upon to relieve on a routine basis. It'd be one thing if they say, "Oh, you're going to be down for the next 6 days. We just want you to work on that." But tough to do that with a reliever. There's backup work behind him. Jay Bruce due up a third in the inning, so Cedeno looks like continues to warm, and he's a righty up as well. Right now he's got no clue.
No. Nothing was close there. Fernando Rodriguez getting up. Probably a short leash here. We'll see if he even stays in to face Drew Stubbs. Maybe not. Let's see. Doug Brocail is going out.
Doug started out, and then Millsy called him back with a little last-minute instruction.
Yeah, it's a little dicey after those first 4 pitches. Staying with him. Stubbs is 1 for 3, an RBI double. Del Rosario is batting 8th in the order for Houston, we're told. And Snyder 9th. But I don't know why that would be, JD.
Well, probably because they were, I guess they're just planning on hitting Downs ahead of Snyder in the pitcher spot.
Stubbs took a shot at bunting it. There's strike 1. Colorado 3, Arizona 1 in the top of the 3rd in Arizona. Kubel struck again for his 22nd.
Man, what a tear he's been on. A 3 home run game against the Astros, and then homered the next day.
I think he's hit about 11 or 12 in July. San Diego beat the Giants today, as JD mentioned, 6-3. Jason Marquis winning his 6th. He beat Tim Lincecum, who goes to 4-11. And Houston Street got his 17th save. Headley hit his 12th homer. Jesus Guzman hit a couple to give him 6. Check Lincecum's line here for you. As the throw goes to first again. EDR giving us a chance to delve further into that box score and showing Lincecum with 4 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs allowed at home, and his ERA is 5.88 now.
Continues to strike hitters out. He had 8 punch outs in his 4 2/3 innings.
Bouncer back to EDR. He goes. Oh, it's dropped by Marwin Gonzalez. They get the out call, and that's gracious.
It sure was.
Oh boy. EDR's footwork was all fouled up on that.
Yeah. So just a little step and throw. He started running towards second base and threw it off the wrong foot. And like Marwin said, "Hey man, just throw it to me." So Marwin felt like he had to be extra quick because EDR took a little extra time. And the Astros catch a break here because Marwin never had control of that baseball.
No, sir.
I'm really surprised that Dusty Baker's not out there arguing, but I don't know that Dusty's in the dugout right now.
Oh.
I saw Chris Spire waving his arms out at the umpire, and no sign of Dusty. He might have gone up to the clubhouse for something.
Okay. That'll be it for EDR. Yeah, why you'd want to take several steps up on top of the mound and make a throw is beyond me. But Cedeno's coming in. It's 1-0 Cincinnati. Back in a moment. innings. Xavier Cedeno coming in. He pitched well in this earlier time with the Astros. 5 games, no decisions. Called up earlier today from Oklahoma City. 6 1/3 innings. And you see the strikeout to walk ratio of 5-1.
That gives Brad Mills 3 left-handed options down that bullpen. I'm not sure how long he's going to go with it with the starter needed over the weekend, but Cedeno certainly deserving to be here with the work he's done down at AAA this year. He's been lights out.
Facing Jay Bruce. Breaking pitch, ball 1.
2-0 with a 2.28 ERA and 22 appearances at AAA. 27 2/3 innings, 25 strikeouts. 7 unintentional walks.
Gets a swing there from Bruce. That takes it to 1-1. Cedeno got a save in the Kansas City game here. June 18th. Bruce is hitting only .216 against lefties.
Yeah, Cedeno came into that game after Myers gave up about 10.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
5 or 6, right?
Yeah, he came in with the bases loaded and he got Mike Moustakas to save a 9-7 win. Bouncer through the left side. And Bruce hit that hole. The Astros were playing him to pull on the infield. And he went to the right of Marwin Gonzalez to make it runners at first and second and 1 out.
Now you're going to play Bruce to pull generally, and certainly double play. You're going to pitch towards second base. You know, he's less inclined to pull with the lefty on the mound, but we don't see him hit many balls on the ground in that direction.
Nope. Reds would love to see him do that more often. A lot of teams shifting. And that'll be it for Cedeno against just the one left-handed batter, Bruce. Now Ludwig is coming up next with 1 out, runners at first and second. Fernando Rodriguez on his way in. Back in a moment. And second and 1 out here in the 8th inning. Fernando Rodriguez comes in. He's 1-8. He has stranded 25 of 29 inherited runners. He inherits 2 here.
2 very important runners as the Astros trailing this game by a run. And the Reds have an outstanding bullpen, so can ill afford to give them any more. Fernando worked the 3rd of an inning last night, came in and finally got the side out in the 9th after Francisco Cordero really struggled.
Well, we have a 14-game winner in the majors, David Price. Tampa Bay beat Baltimore 10-1. Price is 14-4. Ludwig singled to left in the 4th inning. Then he lined out in the 6th. He's 1 for 3. Move to second base. Altuve takes the throw. Stubbs back in. Stubbs a threat to steal. And steal of third with one out could be very big for the Reds. Stubbs has 19 stolen bases in 24 tries.
Reds are aggressive on the bases. Fernando's slow to home plate, so they may take a shot here to double steal.
Ludwig looks at it. It's a ball. Fernando's pitched 4 times against the Reds this year with an 0-2 record of 5.40 ERA. Altuve went to second. Now the runners take off. And the ball gets away from Snyder on a double steal. Stubbs gets his 20th at third base, and Bruce number 7 at second.
Now 2 men in scoring position, and perhaps more importantly, no double play opportunity. You see Chris trying to go down and get that ball and pull up to his throwing hand all in one motion and not able to control it, and probably wasn't going to have a play on either base runner anyway.
Infield in now. That's number 100 for Stubbs. Stolen bases in his career. 2-0 to Ludwig. Ball 3 with Rolen on deck. And if Ludwig walks, the Astros can play a double play depth for Rolen with one out. Yankees beat Seattle 5-2. David Phelps the winner. Now here's the intentional walk. Ludwig takes the pass and the bases are loaded with one down now. Rolen the batter. He's 0 for 3. He's hit the ball in the air all 3 times. Rolen has grounded into 2 double plays this year in 164 at bats. Four grand slams. He is 1 for 6 with the bases loaded this year. Reds as a team are hitting .231 with 3 men on base.
Double play ground ball sure would be nice. Hard to anticipate it though with Fernando on the mound. There's only been 1 this year. He's an extreme fly ball pitcher. Gets twice as many outs in the air than he does on the ground.
That's popped up. Scott Moore over, but he won't be able to play it. That's strike 1. Yeah, he doesn't have that heavy sink.
No, he throws a riding 4-seam fastball up in the zone, gets a lot of pop-ups, swings and misses up there. Gets it in on his hands. He might be able to induce a weak ground ball there. Maybe get him to roll over on a curveball. But if you're Fernando Rodriguez, I don't think you really change your approach to try to induce a double play ball. It's just not your game. You just got to go to your strength and try to beat Rolen.
1-1, as you might have noticed. He only has 1 double play ball all year. Rolen's going to be looking for a ball he can get in the air to get that runner home from third with 1 out.
So he'll be looking middle away, try to keep his hands inside the ball, make sure he doesn't roll over on one.
Yeah, right through the right side. He gets a run home and maybe 2. Here's Bruce coming to the plate. Bogusevic's throw, the tag by Snyder. They got him. And now here's a throw back to third in the dirt. And Rolen is able to get into second base. It's 2-0 Reds on the RBI single by Rolen. He hit the ball on the ground all right, but found a hole. Bogusevic.
Yeah, his approach was to stay inside the ball. The idea of hitting the ball, middle or the other way in the air, but he didn't do that. But he found a hole on the right side, and Bogusevic comes up with another big throw. See the play at the plate. The ball was clearly there in time. Snyder out in front. to make the catch, and then the sweep tag. Bruce never got to the plate.
5th outfield assist for Bogey. Runners at second and third now for Todd Frazier. Frazier's 1 for 3. Popped up. Altuve in. To end the Reds' 8th, they come up with a run on 2 hits. They strand 2. It's 2-0 Cincinnati. Jose Altuve single to right in the 1st inning. 3rd inning, he goes up the middle right between the legs of Homer Bailey for his 2nd hit, and then a 6th inning walk. And Altuve also picked up a steal in this ball game. Very active night on the bases. He's been on all 3 times. He'll be leading it off in the home 8th inning. Multi-hit games. He ranks 4th, tied for 4th with 35. It'll be Logan Ondrusek warming up for the Reds. Homer Bailey in 7 innings allowed the Astros 4 hits, no runs, walking 5, fanning 7, and another native Texan, Hallettsville and Shiner.
Old home week here for these Reds. Ondrusek, a big part of the Reds bullpen, having another outstanding year. He's appeared 43 times. He's been tough to hit. He's been rock solid against the Astros so far. Good guy, about 6'8".
Made 4 appearances without giving up a run for 3 2/3 innings against Houston. He got a win and a hold. Altuve takes his first pitch, and it's ball 1.
Didn't feel like a 5-walk game from Homer Bailey. His command was pretty good, but he ends up with 5 free passes.
Had some brain cramps on Corcoran, I thought, on some of his pitches there. Bouncer, extra bases, past a diving Roland into the left field corner. Altuve into second base, taking a turn there. Stop sign from Dave Clark. He gets back into second on a double. That's his 24th 2-base hit of the year.
Well, these Astro fans have not had a lot to cheer for tonight, but now many of them up on their feet, responding to the efforts of Jose Altuve. He and Norris really getting it done tonight. Solid work from Bud and a big night for Altuve. And an opportunity for the Astros here with a leadoff double.
Despite the best efforts of Rowan, Altuve, the club leader in doubles, is aboard with his 3rd hit. On base for the 4th straight time tonight. And Justin Maxwell gets another RBI opportunity. He's had a rough night. He's 0 for 3. Reached on an error last time. There's ball 1.
Good heater. Reached 94, 95 miles an hour. Cut fastball, curveball, and a splitter.
Hogan was drafted in 05 in the 13th round. It's only the 4th extra base hit in the series by an Astro. It's 1-1. Reds bullpen is outstanding. Leads the major leagues in relief wins with 19, and in bullpen ERA 2.48. 215 batting average against the Reds relievers. Foul back, and it's 1-2. Just as we promised earlier in the game, Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite. There's a J-Max swing. And last night, a 2-run homer in the 4th inning to give the Astros a 2-0 lead. Now, if he does it again, this place will get interesting. Sean Marshall is warming up for the Reds. J-Max taking that pitch.
Tough pitch, boy. 94. He gets on top of the ball, drives it down below the knees. Busick has allowed 3 home runs this year.
Fly ball out to right center field. Stubbs on the run. And Stubbs makes the catch. Here's the tag by Altuve. He will easily reach third on a long out, number 1. J-Max hit it a long way, but that's not a good part of the ballpark for a hitter.
But it speaks to his strength that he was able to hit that ball as far as he did, because it was out away from him. He really had to reach for it and hit it that far the other way. Good base running here by Altuve. Off far enough where he scores easily if it gets in, but still has time to get back and tag in advance if it's caught.
Chris Johnson will bat. He's 0 for 3. 2 strikeouts and a line out to short. Scott Moore on deck. Reds have 7 hits to the Astros 5. That's ball 1. Cuban Missile was firing last night. Aroldis Chapman got save number 18, giving up an infield hit in the 9th and then striking out 3. So the rest of the bullpen got the night off after Leake went 8. 2 balls, no strikes.
And important for Dusty Baker's club for Leake to give him those innings after Matt Latos only worked 5 in the opening game of the series. Dusty's back.
Okay.
If he ever was gone.
Johnson's 1 for 5 against Andrusek. Fly ball over first base. Frazier digging over to foul territory for it. Good try by Frazier. 2-1.
Dusty Baker was on deck when Hank Aaron hit number 715 to pass Babe Ruth on that night in Atlanta. Dusty played, what, 18, 19 years in the big leagues?
Yep.
Good player. Came up there. I think he was like 19 years old when he came to the show. An outstanding running back in high school.
Foul ball by CJ takes the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Texas leads Boston 5-3. They're in the bottom of the 8th at Texas. Will Middlebrooks at his 12th. Dustin Pedroia number 7 for the Red Sox. Nelson Cruz number 13 for the Rangers.
All right, CJ.
Liner. Oh, Scott Rowland. 2 outs.
Buzzard's luck there for Chris Johnson, lining out for the 2nd time tonight. A little soft liner earlier to shortstop. This time thought he had himself a knock, and Rowland some pretty good ups.
Former basketball star climbed the ladder for that one. Now with 2 outs at Scott Moore. He whiffed twice and walked. Strike 1 to Moore. JD Martinez on deck. Dodgers and Cardinals tied 2-2. Bottom of the 8th in St. Louis. It's 1-1.
Lance got smoked in the knee last night by Kershaw. I don't know how he's doing today.
That looked painful. It's a knee he had surgery on. Into right field. Altuve scores Moore to second base with an RBI double. 2-1 ball game as Moore drives in his 11th. There's a big 2-out hit with a man in scoring position.
Now Dusty Baker left his lefty Marshall in the bullpen there, probably thinking that Brad Mills might counter with downs, and he was comfortable with this matchup. Moore had not done anything tonight. He struck out his last 2 times up. With a big swing of the bat there, he got that high fastball, pitch he had been swinging through earlier. With Andrusik not quite the life on that elevated fastball as we saw from Bailey.
J.D. Martinez 2 for 2 in his career against Andrusik. Is 1 for 3 tonight. Kovacevic on deck. Ball 1. Seven hits for the Reds, 6 for the Astros. Oh, that one. And now the runner takes third. Moore, even though Mesoraco looked like he was going to get a break because the ball hit the umpire's leg, but he still couldn't pick it up. And I think it got him because he's limping around.
I've seen this from him a couple times tonight. Ball in the dirt, instead of just blocking it, he tries to pick it, coming up out of his crouch, and it gets underneath him instead of keeping it out in front, and more able to advance. That's one of those you got to be sure you can make it with 2 outs. You're already in scoring position.
Wild pitch. 2-0 to Martinez. Ball rolls foul. 2 balls, 1 strike. Martinez, a .327 career hitter against the Reds. Jake Peavy won his 8th for the White Sox, 8-2 over the Twins today. Fly ball, left center field, hit pretty well. Ludwig racing back toward the bullpen, and that's going to tie the game. RBI double. He's going to continue to third. Nobody at second base, and the throw is thrown away.
Oh my!
And the Astros lead it.
Wow! It's a yard sale.
There's a 3-run rally in the 8th inning, and it's 3-2 Houston.
This Reds club that plays such good defense coming unglued here, and the Astros out of nowhere claim the lead. Great extension by JD on a ball down in the zone, and then things go haywire for the Reds. As throw comes into second base, nobody home. Aaron throw into the stands. It's a little league home run. I just kept going and going and going, Grandpa.
Going to be an RBI double for Martinez, an error on Ludwig, and an error on Frazier. And now Andrusik, the native Texan, leaves with a 3-2 Houston lead. Back in a moment. And then he was able to race home as the throw from Ludwig went to an unoccupied second base, and then Frazier threw it away at third. So 2 errors after the double, and the Astros get the lead with Martinez scoring.
Yeah, poor communication there by the Reds. The infielder set up for double, possible triple, and Ludwig just fires the ball in towards second base.
4 errors for the Reds tonight.
And Frazier, the trailer, makes the errant throw to third base, and the Astros get a cheap run and take the lead against, again, the best bullpen in the league.
Bogusevic against Sean Marshall with strike 1. Marshall has made 18 straight scoreless appearances against the Astros. Bogey 161 against lefties. 2 outs, nobody on now. It's 1-1 with Francisco Cordero warming up in the Houston bullpen. Marshall's 2-3 in 44 games, 9 saves in 12 opportunities, a 2.65 ERA. Big curve comes in for a strike. 1-2. Cordero warming up. Valdez, Mesoraco, and the pitcher's spot due up in the Reds' 9th inning. To right center field. Jay Bruce backing. Center fielder Stubbs is there. And the Astros put together a 3-run 8th. On 3 hits with 2 errors, they lead it 3-2.
Brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by the new summer barbecue menu at Burger King. Let's have a barbecue today. Now here's the beauty of baseball. Mr. Cordero has a chance to redeem himself just 24 hours later.
It helps to have a short memory as a closer. He had a rough night last night with a blown save and a loss, giving up 3 hits and 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning, throwing 29 pitches, coming in with a 2-1 lead in the 9th inning and giving up the 2-run homer to Drew Stubbs.
How big is that Bogusevic play now, throwing that base runner out at home plate?
Oh, yeah. Now Xavier Paul, the pinch hitter for Valdez, will lead it off to give Dusty Baker a left-handed batter. As a career pinch hitter, he's at 113, 1 homer, 2 runs batted in. But he's swung the bat pretty well in this series. Alfredo Simon warming up for the Reds. Ball 1 to Paul. Paul started last night. He had 3 hits and drove in 2 runs, stole a base. Showing bunt. He looks at a strike. Cordero, a red. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cordero, 37 years old. Last year he pitched 68 times for the Reds, saving 37 in 43 tries. He's from the Dominican.
Mesoraco on deck, and then the pitcher spot, and I'm guessing Heisey there. Heisey's been their best pinch hitter.
Yeah, unless they want to use Phillips, but sometimes.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to make. And if you got a weapon like Brandon Phillips on your bench, you'd hate to see this inning pass without giving him a chance.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cordero signed with Detroit in '94. Then he was a Texas Ranger. Milwaukee Brewer. Signed a 4-year deal as a free agent with the Reds after the '07 season. Traded by Toronto to Houston. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Ben Francisco and a covey of minor leaguers coming to the Houston organization. That's roped to right field. Bogusevic back. That one kicks off the wall, and that'll give Paul a chance to get to second base with a pinch double to open the 9th inning.
Francisco inserted into this closer spot after the trade of Myers because of all the experience that he's had, but Cordero was not having a good year in Toronto. And interesting to see how long Brad Mills goes with him. I mean, it's just a second save opportunity. It wasn't good last night. Leadoff double here by Paul. So you may see Brad evolve into more of a closer by committee or situational type moves.
Here's Heisey, 274 with 3 homers. He's driven in 20. There's strike 1 to him. Heisey is 2 for 5 in this series with an RBI. As JD mentioned, he's been adept at pinch hitting. That was up there.
Anger there.
Yep. 0-2, and that was a problem last night for Francisco. Heisey came into this season with 6 pinch hit home runs. Fouls it back. This season he does not have a homer, but he's 4 for 10 with 2 runs batted in pinch hitting.
Willing to go way out of the strike zone after that high fastball. Down on the count 0-2. There's Phillips on deck now. A good idea. See if they chase a breaking ball in the dirt. Got to make sure you block it, though. Can't give up that extra 90 feet.
Strikeout for out number 1.
That was big. Get the out. No advance for the base runner. Well-placed slider here to beat Heisey.
Now Dusty Baker calls on a 3rd consecutive pinch hitter, Brandon Phillips. Phillips was getting a night off. He's hitting .298, 12 homers, 58 runs batted in, 352 at bats. He's 0 for 1 pinch hitting. He's 1 for 9 with 5 punch outs against Cordero. Leads Major League second baseman in runs batted in. Strike 1 to Phillips. He looks right around at Mike Machlinski after that call. Reds pinch hitters have delivered 23 hits and 96 at bats coming into this one, and Paul came through.
Francisco catches a break there. We'll see Machlinski kind of go back and forth out there today. Sometimes good, sometimes not.
Cordero with Toronto at a 5.77 ERA and 41 appearances with 2 saves. It's a foul ball. He tried to get out of the way. It hit his bat, and it's 0-2. Phillips winding up on the seat of his pants.
Two-seam runner moving in on Phillips. Loading up, ready to go, and then can't get out of the way, and the Astros get a strike out of it. How about that?
Yeah. Phillips has hit .417 since the All-Star break, going 20 for 48. 2 homers and 10 runs batted in. It's 1-2. Phillips drove in 92 last year. Big part of what the Reds are doing offensively and defensively this year. They gave him a contract extension through 2017. Foul away. Jared Weaver won his 13th for the Angels, 11-6 over Kansas City and Anaheim. He's 13-1 with a 2.26 ERA.
Not bad.
Wow. He beat Luke Hochevar. Mike Trout hit another one, 16. Billy Butler, number 20 for the Royals. Foul, and it's still 1-2. Cozart's on deck. Cordero with 329 career saves, trying to nail this one down. He's pitcher number 5. Second to Mariano Rivera. Rivera, according to recent reports, will not be back for the Yankees this year. There's a good stop by Snyder. 2-2.
Trying to get a swing and miss with a slider off the edge and down. Not close enough to get Phillips to bite. Snyder able to keep it in front. No advance for Paul.
They go to the 10th in St. Louis. Dodgers 2, Cardinals 2.
And Phillips has only had 1 pinch hit at bat this year.
Yeah. 3-2 now. It's a 3-2 ball game. The Astros got the lead with 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it was 2-0 after run number 1 scored in the 3rd for the Reds, and they got the 2nd run home in the 8th inning. Now Cordero trying to nail it down with a runner at 2nd and 1 out. Whoa, that's ball 4. 2 men on, 1 out, and Cozart comes up. That one really got away from Cordero. Cozart's 0 for 3 with a walk. And Paul the runner at 2nd, and Phillips on at 1st. Cozart has bounced into 7 double plays this year. That's strike 1. Colorado 4, Arizona 1. They're in the middle of the 5th. Aline Rosario hit his 16th for the Rockies.
They're going up there probably looking for that slider, and he slipped a couple of heaters right by him to get the jump on him.
Stubbs on deck. He's off, and it's 1-2. Reds just swept series from the Cardinals and the Brewers on the homestand before this series. In the air, but back out of play for Snyder. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Reds have come back to win when they've trailed after 8 innings 4 times. It's a ball, and it's 2-2. Altuve was darting around Near the base runner Paul, and then returning to his position right before that pitch by Cordero. Calls time now.
Cordero has to pitch more now than he used to. Back in his prime, he'd light up the radar gun. He'd sit right around 96 miles an hour. He doesn't have that kind of velocity anymore, so he has to move the ball in and out and use his breaking ball a little bit more, a little more judicious with his fastball location.
Popped up, Snyder over, but this one also will be out of his reach.
He's out in front of that slider.
Astros as a team are 20 for 29 in save opportunities this year. Cordero threw 30 pitches last night, and he's at 24 so far tonight.
Just can't finish him off.
Nope. Tops a foul again.
It's funny when you watch the at bat and you see him start to swing at that high fastball. You think, well, he's going to punch him out. And he's able to get a piece of it. That's the difference between the heyday when it was 96 or 7 and 93. Still 93, good enough to compete for sure. Rod Beck was saving games at the end of his career, rushing it up there at about 86.
That's true. He gets a strikeout. He spun one up there, and that's out number 2.
Best breaking ball probably that he's thrown in the inning.
That's where it wound up. Yeah.
Both of his strikeouts were breaking balls. This one, though, it's good tight, hard breaking slider.
Now 2 outs, and it's Stubbs. He had the RBI double in the 3rd. He's 1 for 4.
And Stubbs had the home run off Cordero last night in the 9th. There's no way he's going to do it twice.
He had a 2-0 count, and he hit a slider.
Greg talked about baseball offering a chance of redemption. This is ultimate redemption to get the guy who got you the night before.
Boy, isn't it, though? Ball 1 for Cordero with Jay Bruce on deck. Fly ball up to center field. Justin Maxwell way back on the warning track, and that one bangs off the wall. That'll score the tying run, and here's a throw to the plate. Not in time. That's a 2-run double, and the Reds grab the lead again.
So much for redemption.
4-3 Cincinnati, and once again it's Stubbs with the big hit in the 9th. It's a 3 RBI game for Stubbs. Paul and Phillips score to give the Reds the lead.
This time Stubbs, as Brownie mentioned last night, picked on a slider from Cordero. This time it's a fastball. A nice play by Maxwell on the carom, quickly back in, but the speedy Phillips able to beat it.
Brad Mills out to make a change. Looks like Matt Downs coming into the game at first base for Scott Moore. And he'll be going into the pitcher's spot, the number 8 spot in the order. So Cordero for a 2nd straight night with a rough outing, gets a blown save. It's 4-3 Reds. Back in a moment. Drew Stubbs here in the top of the 9th inning. We have several changes now. Scott Moore has moved from first base to right field. Ryan Bogusevic coming out of the game. Matt Downs is in the game at first base. He's batting in the 8th spot, so he'll be leading off the bottom of the 9th inning. And the new pitcher is Fernando Abad. He's pitcher number 6 tonight for Brad Mills. He has an ERA of 3.91 with no wins and no losses.
He's got the dangerous Jay Bruce scheduled to bat here. And then Ryan Ludwig.
Bruce got a hit in the 8th inning off the lefty Cedeno. He's 1 for 3 with a walk. Ludwig on deck with the Reds having out hit the Astros 9-7, leading it now 4-3 despite making 4 errors tonight. Abad delivers ball 1. He pitched Monday night, 1 scoreless inning, allowing 2 hits and getting a strikeout. Since the end of April, his ERA is 2.95. He was on the DL. There's a ball to Bruce, and that makes it 2-0 for Abad.
Bruce should be looking to come out of his shoes here.
There's a bouncer foul. A lot of folks are probably looking to do that right now too, JD. Time is at 10-11, right?
Yeah.
2 balls and a strike. Abad is holding left-handed hitters to a .239 average.
Well, we've got the scenario for Chris Snyder's dramatic home run on Cougar night in the bottom of the inning.
Oh, yes. He's 2 up second.
Just going to have to turn around 104-mile-an-hour fastball is all.
Whoop. Scrambles for that one. It's ball 3. Second straight night of Chapman. And I don't know about the learning curve with that guy throwing 100.
Yeah, you just hope he's not quite as fresh the second time around. Maybe he doesn't have his best fastball and he's only sitting around 97.
He's getting loose. Down Snyder and Gonzalez 2 up in the bottom of the 9th inning. In for a strike. 3-2 now to Bruce. Roped up the right field line into the corner. Moore over to plate. Another run scoring. The throw goes into second. It's an RBI single, and it's 5-3 Reds. As Bruce comes through. So in the 8th inning, he got a hit off a lefty reliever. Now he duplicates that here in the 9th for RBI number 61.
You can see Chris sliding out. He wanted that ball out away from Bruce, out towards that outside corner, and looked like Abad left it on the inside part of the plate, which, you know, it's, after that slow curveball, you feel like, well, I could probably jam him. But Bruce showing a very quick bat, getting to that 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
5 runs on 10 hits now for the Reds. Ludwig has one of those hits, a single in the 4th, and an intentional walk in the 8th. He looks at ball 1. He's the 7th Red to bat here in the 9th inning. Last night the Reds sent 7 men to the plate in a 3-run 9th. They've scored 3 here so far. It's 1-1. Reds team clicking even without Votto, with a 57-40 record right now on a 6-game winning streak. They're playing very good baseball on the road, 26-22 away from Great American Ballpark. They're outstanding at home, 31-18. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The 8th and 9th innings of this ball game have taken longer than the first 7.
That's right. Reds have won 13 of their last 15. This is the 4th time they've had a 6-game winning streak. This is a season high for them, 17 over 500. Odd misses.
And I've heard stories about struggling teams in the past, and especially offensively, and the manager will just throw everybody's hat and name and pull out a lineup. You get the sense that Brad Mills may be at that point with the bullpen. Just, spin a wheel and whoever comes, all right, you're in tonight, or you're my closer tonight.
Exactly.
Really feel for him. And these guys are out there trying. Everybody's working hard, just not getting it done.
Swing and a miss. Ludwig is down. To end the Reds' 9th inning, another 3-run ninth for the 2nd straight night. They lead it 5-3. There for a 5-3 lead now, with 1 in the 8th and 3 in the 9th inning. Brandon Phillips staying in to play second base. And it's Xavier Paul in left field. New catcher Ryan Hannigan. And the dominant closer in baseball right now as far as velocity and results in terms of strikeouts. Aroldis Chapman, 18 saves and 22 save opportunities, a 1.54 ERA. Opponents are hitting 119, and 30 of his last 37 outs have been strikeouts.
Yeah, struck out about half the batters he has faced this year. 89 strikeouts in 46 2/3 innings. Punched out 3 last night after an infield hit by Chris Johnson. Fastball 97 to 102 maybe last night.
Yeah. Matt Downs is in the game for his first at bat against that. 202, 7 homers, 13 runs batted in. What a challenge coming off the bench. Or
good swing
fashion. Yeah, there's strike 1.
Yeah, he hasn't seen any live pitching tonight, but at least he got out there defensively, got into the flow of the game a little bit. That'll help his cause. He's a good fastball hitter, but it's selling Chapman quite short to refer to his fastball as good.
Downs 0 for 2 in this series after hitting 400 on the last road trip. Pitch is up and in for a ball. Sean Marshall could be the winning pitcher now after working 1/3 of an inning, allowing no hits, no runs, with no walks or strikeouts. Ondrusek 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, no walks or strikeouts. 2 balls and a strike. Cordero 2/3 of an inning, allowing 2 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Chapman signed the big 6-year contract after moving from Cuba to United States baseball and excelling at age 24 now after 54 outings last year in the bullpen for the Reds. He's pitched 4 times against the Astros, scoreless baseball each time with 3 saves. And the other one, he closed out a 6-0 win. Snyder's on deck.
He's just missing that fastball, and I guess the fact that he hasn't hit triple digits tells you that he's maybe not quite as sharp tonight or as fresh. He threw a nasty slider to somebody last night, down-in slider to go along with that fastball. He's not trying to manipulate the ball. He's not trying to cut it or sink it or anything like that. It's just straight four-seam fastballs.
Named to his first All-Star team this year. Out of play again. Downs putting up a battle here. He's had a 6-pitch at bat so far. Ryan Madsen, who was to have been the closer, was hurt for opening day. Nick Massett also disabled, so Chapman got an opportunity after Sean Marshall closed some games to take over in this role. Now it's 3-2.
He reached back, tried to get a little something extra there, and misfired. That's because of the good work that Downs has been doing, just missing those fastballs. I mean, you think, well, what's good work? He's just fouling them off, but he's just missing them. Timing is pretty good here. Didn't have to be. That's unfortunate, boy. He had a good at bat and really worked hard. And, well, looked like it was inside. You'll see it number 8 there on our Fox tracks. That's a good at bat by Downs and an unfortunate call.
Chris Snyder's up now. 176, 4 homers, 19 runs batted in, 148 at bats for Chris. Marwin Gonzalez on deck. That's a rope to left field. Headed for the scoreboard wall. Kicks off the base of it on one bounce. Snyder into second. And on Cougar night, he gets a big hit. A 1-out double.
Well, the Cougar fans are responding. Nice round of applause for Chris. Well, we were hoping for a long ball, but we'll settle for a solid line drive double. Good swing of the bat as he got the head out in front of that Chapman fastball.
Marwin Gonzalez is 0 for 3 with a walk. He's hitting 192 as a right-handed batter this year. Rolling even with the bag at third. Foul for strike 1. Gonzalez did not face Chapman last night. Dodgers and Cardinals still tied at 2 after 10. Marwin started his swing, and he's called for the swing by the home plate umpire, Mike Machlinski. 0-2.
You got to get it started early to have any chance to get to his fastball, so you're very vulnerable to anything off speed, whether it's a slider or changeup.
In the dirt. 1-2 the count with Altuve on deck. Chapman's averaging 17 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's on pace for 148 strikeouts, a club record by relievers, 141 by Rob Dibble in '89. National League record set by Brad Lidge with Houston in 2004, 157. Major League record 181 by Dick Raddatz of Boston in '64. To right field. Bruce waiting. 2 outs. And now it's Altuve, who's been on all 4 times tonight. 2 singles, a double, and a walk. Chapman didn't allow an earned run until his 25th appearance of the year.
Well, Altuve's been the man of the match for the Astros tonight, 3 out of 3. Good swings all night long. He's been on base all 4 times up. Kind of fun to watch him turn around a 100-mile-an-hour fastball here.
Yes. Rollins close to the bag at third. Now back for strike 1. It would be tough to bunt on Chapman.
Yeah, sure would. That 4-seam fastball, belt high. Try to get that down. He envisioned somebody fouling one back into their nose. No one tight to the line there to take away the double down the line from Altuve. Even with the 100-mile-an-hour fastball regarding the line, and with a lot of hitters I would question, but Altuve's quick enough to turn on that pitch.
Now Rollins going to back up and be close to the line, as you see there. Reds are not concerned about Snyder scoring from second. Check swing call is made by the first base umpire, Field and Culbreth. 1-2.
Sometimes against a guy like Chapman, it's just a matter of survival. Just hang in there and try to fight something off.
Yeah, he could have a little spate of wildness. Altuve does that, staying at 1 ball, 2 strikes in the count. These 2 teams will meet 6 more times this year. Pirates come up next on the Astros schedule starting tomorrow night. The first of 4, Dallas Keuchel and A.J. Burnett. Friday night it's Jordan Lyles and Jeff Karstens. The Astros probably will name their Saturday night pitcher sometime Friday. Eric Bedard to start for the Pirates unless they change to Wandy Rodriguez. And Sunday Lucas Harrell goes against James McDonald. Oh, that's a good job by Altuve, just protecting there.
He's shaking his head because he went out of the zone, but again, you don't have a whole lot of time.
No, sir. Chapman signed a 6-year, $30 million deal after defecting to Cuba, choosing the Reds. He was trying out for teams. He was throwing in Houston. Decided to sign him.
Wow, that's impressive right there to get a piece of that.
Sure is.
It came off the fastball and threw him that hard slider down and in. The great eye-hand coordination of Altuve to get a piece.
It's pretty amazing. Chapman was clocked at 106 in one game last year at Great American Ballpark. He spent some time on the DL with shoulder inflammation last season. Boy, what an impressive battle here from Altuve. 20 pitches for Chapman. Maxwell's on deck.
How many pitches in this at bat?
This will be the 8th coming to Altuve.
Not even close then to Ricky Gutierrez and Bartolo Colon from years ago, and in the 22 or 24 pitches in one at bat.
That's true. That one's in tight. And Bartolo Colon was rushing it up there near 100, wasn't he?
Yeah. There's a bit of a smirk across the face of Chapman. He just can't finish this little guy off.
Yeah, it's a battle for him. Chapman listed at 6'4", staring down at the target. And now ball 3, and it's a full count with Maxwell on deck.
Well, now it gets interesting. Maxwell with his power, if he could get out in front of one of these fastballs. A guy out there in Chapman who worked last night. He's had to work hard here tonight. He may be a little vulnerable if Altuve can keep this thing going.
Ground ball to third. Roland throwing across, and the Reds do it again. They come from behind with 3 in the 9th for the 2nd straight night. Chapman getting the save. The Reds sweep the series. They've won 7 in a row, and the Astros couldn't close it out for the 2nd straight night. They've now dropped 9 straight. They dropped to 34 and 65 on the season. Final score: Reds 5, Astros 3.